Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us each and every week for a discussion of the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals with Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I am your host, Marcus Stewart, and we're gonna do a different introduction because before we were recorded, I was tasked by one Charles Hart, who is here, to assign each person a Ninja Turtle. So I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna introduce everyone, and I'm going to name the turtle that I personally think maybe you match with personality wise. So Charles Hart, since this is actually I'm gonna start with myself, and you're gonna hate this.
Context.
Yeah, I think maybe amongst this group, even though this is not my personal turtle, I'm gonna give myself Mikey. I'm going to give myself Michelangelo just amongst us. Charles, you're going to be Donatello.
Okay. Donatello's maybe my favorite. I'm always between Donatello and Leo. And now I'm so curious of who's going to be Raphael.
Well, you know what?
Two hosts.
You know I like you, Charles, because Donatello is my actual favorite. But I figured for the sake of the dynamic that we have, I think you would be the better Donatello and I would be the better Mikey. Wesley LeBlanc, hello. You're the news hound and you're kind of like the leader of the news. So I think it's only appropriate that you are the Leonardo.
I'll take that. He's purple or blue?
He's blue.
Yeah, he's purple or blue.
I'll take that. Got it. Perfect.
Well, he's crucially green. Is the important part.
Yeah.
Now that was a Donatello ass answer. That's a very
no, actually,
thing for you to say.
You know what? Actually, Eric Van Allen, the person that just spoke up, that's a Raphael answer if I ever heard one, because Raphael famously a smartass.
That means
like
That's fair.
Well, you know, Raphael's the rough and tumble one. He's basically the Wolverine of the team. He's the loose cannon, the hothead, always. And he also has like a pretty pronounced rivalry with Leonardo. They butt heads a lot because like Leonardo's the Cyclops.
We famously do that.
Famously do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are always like you're always questioning Wesley's like authority. Anytime Wesley presents an idea, you're always just there to say how dumb it is.
Every time Wes suggests
Leonardo
something, I was like, yeah, every time you suggest something, I'm like, we could not do that.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time reconciling. I know you said this, Eric, that you're not the biggest Turtles fan. Wes, I did not know that you were not. Are you not a Turtles person either?
I specifically really like the 80s or 90s movies where it's like very clearly adult men in costumes.
Yeah.
Especially the sequel.
Don't say that to the kids.
Sorry.
There are kids
that are
listening
now
to this
like
podcast.
close to 40.
Yeah, but the rest of the series never really did anything for me, so I kind of lost my enjoyment.
Mutant Mayhem
of the Turtles.
is very good.
Okay, I did like that. Movie. That is fair. I did like that, but it wasn't like enough to like make Turtles my new hobby.
I would say, because there's been multiple TMNT animated series. I think one that still holds up that I think you would like is the 2003 series that was on Fox Kids. I think it's like a good blend of kind of like the fun and like goofiness of Turtles, but it's like pronouncedly more badass than the original 1987 cartoon.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I like their design. They look like superheroes. This is,
Yeah,
okay,
hop in with that one. That one's a good one. But yes, everyone, thank you for hopping into this podcast. We've got a big show this week. We are going to be talking about Resident Evil Requiem. Wesley LeBlanc reviewed the game. I believe all of us have been playing it. It's a great game, spoiler, and we're excited to dive into it finally. We're also going to be talking about Steam. Next Fest has been going on this week. We've been checking out a bunch of demos, or we're going to share some of our favorites that we have played thus far. And then to round out the show, I get to take over, basically, because as the noted and sole wrestling fan on staff, I get to talk about WWE 2K26. I went to a big preview event at WWE headquarters, so I'm going to talk about my experience at the event itself. Spoilers, it was pretty wild, as well as just some early impressions of the game ahead of its launch in the coming weeks. But yes, before we get into Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 7. What are we on? Resident Evil Requiem. Oh my gosh. Getting my numbers mixed up, which is Resident Evil 9. Before we get into that, a little bit of housekeeping. If you would like to support Game Informer, the best way to do it is to get yourself a Game Informer magazine subscription. How do you do that, you ask? Well, you go to GameInformer.com/subscribe, and doing so gets you 10 issues a year, physical and digital. If you're watching the video version, you can see our most recent edition for 007 First Light being held up by Charles Hart. The paper quality is insane. The editorial content is even better. We got a bunch of deep dive features every month. Wesley LeBlanc about to headbang his webcam.
I'm gonna
right
explode
off the
into
desk.
a crimson head because I'm so excited.
He's
So much blood
so
rushing to my
excited.
head.
Oh, what a Leonardo move that is. But yes, you can get yourself a magazine
Marcus, do
subscription.
you know what the turtles are?
Cowabunga. Yeah.
There
You
you go.
know that one where Leonardo dies in a bloody explosion?
Yeah.
His skull bursts? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a great one.
Did you guys not read The Last Ronin? That's what happens in that. But yes, great way to support Game Informer. Get yourself a magazine subscription. If you were watching this week, we just announced our next cover story, which will be for Invincible Versus. That will go live for digital readers on March 3rd with the print edition coming later in March. We're going to dive into what that issue entails on next week's show, but just letting you know that it is announced, and you can go on the website right now and get a look at the beautiful cover art. And if you want to get that as your first issue, you got to subscribe right now. GameInformer.com/subscribe. As well as you can go into bookstores, newsstands, find Game Informer on your shelves. You can go to Books A Million. You can go to Barnes and Nobles. You can even go to that one game store that used to own us. They have it too. And if you're an international reader, there's your stores over there have them. Don't ask us which ones. We still don't know, sadly. But we know that they're there, whether you're in Canada or the UK or Europe, Australia, Japan. Many other countries have Game Informer on shelves. If you do find us in your home country, please let us know. Hit us up on social media. Send us a pictures. Tell us the name of the store, because it's actually extremely helpful as we try to track down where our magazine is popping up in other parts of the world. But yes, whether you get yourself a newsstand version or you get a subscription, it is a great way to support Game Informer and help us keep doing what we're doing. And speaking of doing things, Wesley LeBlanc, you have reviewed Resident Evil Requiem, the 9th mainline entry in the Resident Evil series. 2 protagonists, Grace Ashcroft and the returning Leon S. Kennedy. It is a big one. You gave this game a hell of a high score. Tell us why. What is so great about Resident Evil Requiem?
I gave Resident Evil Requiem, like you said, the 9th mainline game. Something I learned today, the 31st Resident Evil game.
That's
apparently,
wild.
Which is pretty bonkers.
Does that mean the 30th was that mobile game that came out last year? The
little
it was
like
called? Survival
yeah, I know
Unit?
which one you're talking. Yeah, survival unit.
Survival
Yes.
Unit.
That's awesome.
That was the
That rules.
Perfect. Just in time for 30 years of Resident Evil.
Yep.
I gave Resident Evil Requiem a 9.75, which is my highest score ever, which is a score I've only given to Lies of P, which is also an amazing game. I do not take giving such a high score lightly, but admittedly, it wasn't very hard for me. Like, I finished halfway through this game, I was like, yo, we are cooking. If this stays, this is going to be my new favorite Resident Evil. And then I finished the game and I was like, that's my new favorite Resident Evil. Wasn't even like one of those moments where I need to think about the history and the other games and compare and contrast them and truly figure out if it was my favorite. It was just like a commanding, hi, I'm Resident Evil. I'm Requiem. I'm your new favorite Resident Evil. And it felt really good.
wow.
Yeah, so if you somehow have not seen anything about Resident Evil Requiem, which is basically impossible in 2026 because Capcom refused to stop showing this game at every possible showcase out there. You play as Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from PS2's Resident Evil Outbreak, as Marcus and Charles know.
So, yes.
She is
Outbreak
a
crew.
crucial,
girl.
critical care to the the entire magnum opus of Resident Evil. Resident Evil falls apart as a series without Alyssa, correct, guys?
Oh,
Everyone's
what we
always said
learned.
that. Yeah.
yeah. There were these so many locked doors if Alyssa was not around with her amazing lockpicking skills.
Exactly. And because of Alyssa's work, Grace had a few less doors to pick lock, and we are grateful. That's a good mom right there. Ironically, because of Requiem's story, Alyssa actually is a very important character in Resident Evil lore now. Because we already know this. She is murdered. Alyssa Ashcroft is murdered, and puts Grace Ashcroft. Somebody didn't watch XYZ Direct
Somebody
this year or last
wasn't
year.
paying attention when he played the intro of the video game. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what kickstarts Grace's journey kind of into the world of Resident Evil. She goes into the FBI, becomes a FBI agent, and starts like investigating. In my headcanon, she joined the FBI to learn more about what happened to her mom, but she's a pretty good agent. And she's investigating some murders, and these murders sent her spiraling into the story of Requiem, which, if you've played a Resident Evil, you know that it sounds a little something like, oh, what's going on here? Let me investigate. Oh, that person's dead, I think. Oh, they're alive and moving now. Oh, I need to kill them. And thus begins Grace's journey to Resident Evil protagonist.
Wes, can I push back a little bit? I mean, you've played more of the game, so maybe you know, but on what you said of Grace being really good at her job, I'm not entirely sure if I've seen enough to...
Okay, so
maybe
her job isn't killing zombies and surviving the perils of viruses and whatnot. Her job is investigating cases and solving them. And I get the sense
analyst.
Yeah. I get the sense that she's pretty good at that.
She's a very Clarice Starling character. Like this is a very Silence of the Lambs setup for Grace Ashcroft, and I think that had to be like a touchstone for the team here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's terrible or anything like that, but a lot of her characterization, at least from what I've played the first several hours of the game so far, and a lot of her characterization is just her being very scared of everything.
Yes.
Understandably so. Like, she probably maybe... One thing I do like about her is that she probably has the most human reactions to anything in this series of any protagonist, like even more so than Ethan. Like, she sees something and she freaks out in a way where, like, yeah, more people should react like that. But she also has a bit of a, like, oh boy, I'm really scared of everything. And you're like, oh, you work for the FBI, right? But
yeah,
I don't know.
Crucially, for the case that opens up Requiem sends her to the hotel where her mom was murdered. So she is already thrown into this ocean of madness that is Resident Evil, a world she doesn't understand, and dealing with the trauma of returning to that place for the first time since watching her mom die. It wasn't just my mom died here, it was I watched my mom be murdered here. And I think that kind of colors where she's at throughout the game. Is just like, I am so scared. This is so messed up, but I have a mission. And that mission evolves over the game. It starts with, let's go investigate a homicide. It turns into a lot more like saving a girl and maybe saving the world, as does happen in Resident Evil. But to your point, I do like that she feels grounded in a way that is refreshing for Resident Evil, which is crazy to say because we've had so many protagonists. But you're right that, like, even the most scared... I mean, Leon walks into the police station in RE2 and very quickly just becomes the hero that the world needs. Like, it doesn't take him long to be like, oh, this sucks. Okay, boom, I'm going to blow bullets through everybody's heads. Grace is a protagonist that feels like what I would feel like in this world, which is like, why do I have to do this? Why? I do not want to rise to the occasion. I do not want to save the world. I just have a mission and I'm trying to accomplish that. And
Yeah,
it's
like,
fun
this sucks.
watching her.
Like, this super sucks.
Yeah.
Right? And, like,
Yeah.
I like that it never seems to, like, she gets a little bit more accustomed to it, but not really. Like, it's like she sees another dead body and she's like, oh my God, that's horrible. You know?
Yeah. And it's I'll give Capcom credit too, because I think they could have very easily, accidentally, intentionally, I don't know, fallen into like a damsel in distress type role that feels out of place in 2026, especially given the series' history. But like, they really toe the line of Grace is capable. Like, by all means, she's capable and she's handy and deft at what she's doing. She's just scared out of her mind. And that is very relatable. And I think that is something that really worked for me. I also played as Grace primarily in first person, which is what the game defaults to. So you kind of get to lean into the survival horror first person aspects that Village and Resident Evil 7 made work so well. And that's by design. Grace's sections are the horror moments of Requiem. Leon sees some scary stuff and does some scary stuff, but you feel empowered, you feel strong. He's not worried. He's going to shoot out some one-liner quips after he takes down a monster that deserves to be in book revelations of the Bible. Like, Grace, on the other hand, is constantly just trying to survive. And I've talked about it in my preview before this game. You've probably seen it, but like the big marketing piece for this game so far has been this care center, which is where you quickly get to in Resident Evil Requiem. And it is your Raccoon City Police Department. Like, it has a different name. It has a kind of different look, but for all intents and purposes, it is giving you the Raccoon City Police Department RE2 style again. This is a place where to exit, you inexplicably need some gemstones that are inexplicably spread out throughout this care center. And there is a very large man with a machete who just wants to cook some meat, maybe your meat as a human.
Patient care is so
zombies
difficult
crawling.
these days, you know. It's really this,
Yes,
they talked about
it's-
this on the pit actually. That
Yes, yeah.
finding the gemstones to get to their patients.
Yes, yeah. God, I didn't even. Yeah, you're making me realize in real time that this is a place for caring for patients. It's
This is a
an
logistical
insane
nightmare.
setup. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
Dr. Rabinovich like running around like, I need the moon key.
pouring hand sanitizer all over his hands.
trouble
I'm
one, trouble
picturing
one.
Dr. Robbie just being like, hey, can we have an aside with like big butcher cleaver guy? And he's like, listen, man, I appreciate your efficiency on the job, but the knife is freaking people out. You gotta-
Yeah.
You're
you gotta
behind
put
on
it
your
down.
charting. Like, you really got to step it up. This is a difficult year for the
We're spending
R3s,
way
man.
too much time on this one patient. You gotta get those numbers. Yeah.
I need
Shout out to
compressions.
the pit. Great show.
Shout out to the
Oh, I love the pit.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if you have played Resident Evil of late, Grace is going to feel very familiar as a character and as a gameplay mechanic, like controlling her. They're not necessarily, Capcom's not really reinventing anything with Requiem, which is kind of the thing I drove home in my review. This is like a refinement of like masterful precision. It is a perfect refinement of Resident Evil. So like, don't go in expecting an overblown rework of how Resident Evil works. Like, I gave it a 9.75, yes, but it is because it is they took every aspect of Resident Evil and went through it with like a fine tooth comb and made sure that every single piece was in line exactly where it needs to be. This feels like, I don't want to say scientific or sterile because it's not, but like it almost feels like a lab grown Resident Evil in the sense that like every part of Resident Evil you love is here, and it is, in my opinion, the best it's probably ever been.
Yeah,
It's like a
what I
greatest
like
hits
about it,
album almost.
Yes,
Where it's
yeah.
like all the parts come together. Yeah.
and it's weird because Village was also that in its own way, but also like a bit of a sampler of like every style of the series up to that point.
Yeah.
What I like about Requiem and specifically the Grace section is that it's the first time that they've done the first person style, but it's with zombies. Like, because, you know, the Ethan games,
The
they're-
molded, yeah.
the
or the
mold stuff,
werewolves,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah, like this is the first time where it feels like, oh no, this is a back to basics Resident Evil, but we're doing it in first person. And that's something that like really stood out to me. It's like, oh yeah, we've never just shot zombies in, I mean, if you exclude the light gun games, we've never shot zombies
Yeah.
in first person before in the like 7 Biohazard style, which I thought was really fun, especially because they made the zombies terrifying in this game in a way that I don't think they have been since 4, maybe? Like, I don't
I'd
know,
probably
maybe
go
because
back to like 2 or 3. 4,
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's because of the structure of 4 and who you're playing as and how you're playing as Leon. Like, 4 never really struck me as too scary. Maybe
I guess,
outside
I mean,
the opening village section.
sure, and I guess 4 is also like zombies, you know, is quote unquote, they're technically maybe not that. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is like 2 or 3. But the point is that the zombies in this game are genuinely terrifying. Like they're not just kind of like, oh, they're just shambling idiots that you can just kind of like easily run past, or just, you know, they're just like, ooh, and like there's different like types of them that have their own like terrifying little quirks.
The
like,
shriekers, the screamers, or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
or,
those are
God.
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, and just
so
the
that's something.
the faces on them too. When they get up on you, like you just like see their just crazed eyes, and it's like, oh my God, dude, get this thing
Yeah.
off of me.
There's a big change with Requiem zombies that is due to the type of virus at play here, and that is that they retain the memories of who they were. Like this is a virus where, surprise, somebody was trying to create a bio something serum that makes it so where we are the perfect humans, and retaining your memories after transformation is part of that. Surprise, it doesn't work, and it turns out putting viruses into bodies is not good. But these zombies retain some of the memories of who they once were. So there's a
they can
guy in
kinda
a hallway
talk now.
who, yeah, they do talk, and it's weird, and also very cool and very different, and it makes it feel a lot more real, especially for Grace, who probably has never killed anybody based on her reactions to having to shoot down zombies. And like Leon has gotten to kill crazy zombies, and it's very clear that those are long gone. But like, imagine killing a zombie who is still trying to do their job and talking about that job. It becomes a lot more real that like, I'm gonna kill this zombie because they're a threat, but also, man, it really feels like the person is still in there, and now I'm also killing a person. I think it's a really cool like dive into the psychology of zombies. I think Resident Evil largely has been unconcerned with zombies. They're a cool thing to shoot, and they're fun to work with in a story, but like, what does it mean to shoot a zombie, and what does it mean to be a zombie? That's not a new question. Like, zombie media has been asking that forever. I don't think Resident Evil has ever really been interested in diving into that, and this feels like their first attempt at that, which I really enjoy. And it extends to like, I mean, there's a lady who's cleaning the glass. It's in our review, actually. She's cleaning the bathroom glass because she's like custodial staff, and the glass is all shattered, and she's just rubbing her hand on broken glass and getting her hand all bloody and gross.
She got me pretty good the first time I ran at her.
Yeah. There's a guy who just desperately wants all the lights off in those dang hallways. And every time you turn on those lights, he will stumble back to the lights to turn it off. And he'll tell you like, lights off. And it's real fun. Before I dive into the next part of Resident Evil Requiem, which is the Leon stuff, I want to mention, like, for me, Resident Evil has 99% always been so much stronger in the first half of its games. Like, I adore the first half of a lot of Resident Evil games, and they rarely stumble there for me. Where Resident Evil typically stumbles is in that back half. And even when it's good, it still just pales in comparison to what you start the game in. Resident Evil 2 is a great example. Is the back half bad? No, it's fun going into the lab and escaping the police department and seeing what you
Can
get
I
up
say
to.
real
but
quick? Okay, it seems you're done. I
you're
do
good.
just want to preface. There's a part in this game where you're playing as Leon, and he has like a brief flashback to Resident Evil 2. I paused the game there. I was so invested in this game, I purchased Resident Evil 2, and I am currently like 4 hours into playing Resident Evil 2 as a mid-game like flashback sequence. So if we can
that's
avoid
sick.
as wild
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it
no,
is,
no,
if we
I'm
can
not
avoid
gonna-
spoiling the very end of Resident Evil 2.
No,
That's how
yeah.
I'm going about the game right now. But I was
That's
just like, I really need to have the context for this location
That's
that I'm at right now.
That's a
So I'm
sick
just
way
gonna
to play that
Resident Evil 2.
game. That's
is,
awesome.
yeah.
Like you're like, oh, Leon's having a flashback, so will I.
Well, and
like
it's
you're having
crazy. It's crazy how quickly it pays off too. And like, I'm not going to spoil any of the details, but like, even just like Wes, you were talking about like it being concerned with like killing a zombie or whatever. There's a guy in Resident Evil 2 in the police station that's been like wounded, and he's like telling Leon, he's like, you got to go on without me. But one of the things he says, he's like, don't be like me. If you see one of those things, no matter who they used to be, don't hesitate to pull the trigger. And that like, it's just interestingly flavors to go from that and then remember who I was playing as Leon in Resident Evil 9, where he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill so many zombies.
He's
and,
like
kind of not
spin-kicking
even
them.
thinking
Yeah.
about it. Like it
Yeah.
just is a very cool time jump to observe. But anyways, you can
Yeah.
continue, Wes. You're talking
No,
about-
that's a great
yeah.
point. No, I won't spoil Resident Evil 2. But basically, like the second half of Resident Evil 2 is great, but it just doesn't compare to the police station. I think honestly, RE2's first half in the police station is like probably the best opening to a Resident Evil out there, at least maybe before Requiem. I have the same problem with Village. Village is an incredible start, like a fantastic start, and then the second half just doesn't do it for me. Actually, sorry, I meant 7. 7 has an incredible start. The second half of 7 does not do it for me. Village, again, the first 2 of the 4 main locations you go to, incredible. And then the back half, I'm like, nothing. Doesn't compare. Requiem has a really nice remedy for that, which is instead of taking the protagonist who is in a survival horror experience and all of a sudden ramping them up to be an action hero, like Ethan Winters, like multiple other games before him, Grace remains like the survival horror protagonist of this game. And we switch to Leon instead when the game is ready to give you a break from the tension of horror and let you just like kick some butt and shoot zombies. And it's Leon, and he's obviously seen it all. There's nothing new here that he has not dealt with. He has his gun. It's a very, very large gun. Also named Requiem, which made me laugh out loud when I first started the game. That's sick.
The game is about his gun, is what we're saying.
Yeah. And it's a cool gun, to be fair.
It is
it's
a
like
very
a
cool
wrist breaker of a revolver that is sick as hell to shoot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's basically like a one shot, one kill type of gun.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when the game just kind of says like, use your bullets, have fun, sprint around, roundhouse kick zombies.
Chainsaw.
You are the threat. Yeah, Leon parries a chainsaw in the first.
With a hatchet.
Yes. Does that even make sense?
He can also-
He
But
read
he
the
cares.
book.
It's sick.
He
One
learned.
new thing I like is that he can pick up certain objects and just automatically throw them at the heads of enemies.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
fun, and also
Yeah.
it's like a fun way to kind of play with the environment. Just pick up an axe
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, that guy in the corner, you're done.
It's really nice. Like playing, they strike a perfect balance throughout the game of like, okay, I've had it with Grace. My hands are sweaty. I'm gripping my controller really tight. I'm ready for like, I want to feel a little powerful now because Grace rarely does. And then you get Leon, and you're just you're in control. It's like a call the ambulance, but not for me type of situation, or like you're locked in here with me, zombies. That's what Leon is in this game, and
They're breathers. Like I said,
Yes,
the gray
exactly.
stuff the gray stuff, like, we can't really talk much beyond the hospital, but that section is oppressive as hell.
yes, yeah.
To the-
We
yeah,
kind
to
of
the
can. I mean, we shouldn't spoil it for people listening, but the embargo
No, we
for
won't.
like the game will be out by the time we're listening. But we're not going to
that-
spoil anything
Yeah,
crazy here.
we're not going to get into the
That
details.
is the
but-
weird part about this, is that there were like a decent number of embargo restrictions that were kind of saying like, hey, don't talk about certain stuff, which is like, we got to kind of walk around, but also there's some stuff you don't want to like completely give away, even though this game was kind of leaking and getting spoiled already online.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
story specific. Just
there's
more
some cool stuff to find.
Tonally, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like having on top of just the how action centric the Leon sections are, like just having him be a damn quit machine.
Yes.
When you've listened to Grace for like 2 hours, just be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Again, great, I love it. But then you get to Leon, who again is unfazed to the point where he's just like killing zombified doctors and being like, I'm gonna need a second opinion.
That is like, that's like an S tier Leon quip. That's like a everybody's gone to bingo or whatever. Like that's real up there. Yeah.
And he keeps
They don't really
dropping
miss
them.
with his quips. Yeah, they are like every major action set piece you get through, he has something fired up. Like he's walking into this horde of zombies and he's like, I got one. Let me kill them first, and then I'm gonna unleash. And it's the best quip you've heard thus far.
Do you think he
He's,
practices these?
One of my
In his Porsche, he doesn't listen to music. He just like quips in his Porsche silently.
one of my ideas for like an April Fool's headline was like Leon Kennedy's improv coach really proud playing Requiem. It's like, wow, he's really good at coming up with these one-liners. I do
That's
like
really
that.
good.
The dynamic of the game is like, what was the main character in Silence of the Lambs? Eric, you said her name and I forgot what it is.
Clarice Starling.
Yeah, it's like Clarice and John Wick occupy the same universe, and every time they cross paths, it's like Leon's like, oh no, a terrifying zombie, and then like there's like a sequence where Leon is like on a computer, like doing something, like, you know, researching, being like, this is how this is, and then he just like turns to the left and is like, good, a sniper rifle, I can shoot out the window and defend Grace from this thing. And it's like the logic is just, it's just a different genre, but for some reason it doesn't, I feel like it would annoy me, and for some reason it never does. It's just like, well, that's, Leon has two superpowers. One is he's really good at killing zombies, and two, he will spawn in the most epic set piece or item that will make this moment cooler, and it always makes sense.
He's like 30% John Wick, but like there's also a lot of Bruce Willis from Die Hard in there.
Sure, yeah.
I was gonna add even a splash of Chris Evans Captain America.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's some. I don't think it's like MCU quippiness. I do think it's like just quick one-liners like that. Like he's not doing the like, well, that happened type thing to the camera. He's not doing like a Jim look at the camera type thing. Like he is just saying like a funny little one-liner as an aside to himself while he's still like locked in the moment. So it is very like ho ho ho, I have a machine gun now type stuff. But yeah, there's just a lot of like action hero type vibes in that like you said, it does. This is actually, I've never finished a Resident Evil. Fun fact, the most I had played of Resident Evil prior to playing Requiem was I played the VR demo for 7, which was absolutely terrifying. And I played the demo for 2, and I liked it a lot, but I never played the full game. So this is like my first time spending time with an actual full Resident Evil game. Turns out I really like Resident Evil. Also turns out it is kind of a weird thing to be plunged into both of those play styles at the same time, to have almost these like rapid tone shifts, but because of the characters that you have in place, I don't think it feels like whiplash, because I do think it would feel like if I was playing as a character who's very scared and hiding in hallways and things like that, and then all of a sudden I have a machine gun now, let's go. It's like, it would feel kind of weird, but having Leon step in here is clearly like he's done this before. He's seen this before. He's old hat at this. It works. It's a weird, like chocolate and peanut butter colliding that works really, really well and gives you those like rises and falls very naturally. And they're paced so well too. The breaks are paced so well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like every time they switch, it's usually at a point where I'm ready for the switch to
Exactly.
happen.
Yes. Yeah. That's the
Exactly.
balance I'm talking about. Like they're just so clearly aware of like where it feels like focus tested, where they're like watching an audience and they're like, oh, right there, that's where they stopped wanting to do Grace. Let's switch to Leon there.
Yeah, like, oh, this is getting too scary. I could use some kick-ass action. Oh, here's Leon. All right, here we go.
Yeah. So Leon, he picks up, he's in his 50s at this point. He is sick. He has an illness or an infection or something wrong, and he doesn't know what's going on. And he's looking for answers, and he suspects going back to the heart of where this virus stuff began, Raccoon City, the surrounding mountains, etc. And that's kind of where him and Grace's paths cross. And then at that point, Leon sees a girl, Grace, who is in need of help and trying to survive. And what is Leon going to do? He's going to do what he's always done. He's going to help this person survive. And something that is really interesting that they've done with Leon, and it's very light. It's a light-handed touch of this, but I think it's a step forward for his character, is like letting Leon express and feel what he's gone through. Like if you have played his games, if you know his history, just in general, like, yes, Leon is this awesome superhero zombie killing machine, but like at the end of the day, he's also a guy who was showing up to work to be a cop in a city. And Raccoon City is not like New York City. It's like a Midwestern city in between some mountains. He was just going to go probably drink some coffee, answer a couple calls a day. And instead he had to go and shoot one day what would be his coworkers at this police station and be one day on the save the president's daughter. Like, his journey is crazy. And they've never really given Leon the time to look back on that. And this game, lightly, I probably would have liked a little more, but it is Leon after all. They do allow Leon to be like, I have survived massive massacres that maybe happened because of the government or because of this corporation or because of this or that. Like, am I complicit? Am I part of this? why do I feel the way I feel? Why am I so good at this? And Grace is there to kind of bounce off of him and be like, hey, dude, it's okay to not be okay with this. It's a very basic message, but she's like, this sucks. And he's like, it does suck. And he feels good saying it for once. And I really enjoyed that Requiem gave him just a little room to stop killing zombies every now and then and be like, Raccoon City is this specter in my head that I have never forgotten about. And I'm not going to lie, it's kind of scary being back here. Because
Honestly,
that is one of the big parts of Requiem is, and they've shown this in the trailers, you get to go back to Raccoon City. We're not going to spoil what happens there, but you are back to Raccoon City 28 years after the thermobaric bomb went off. I was corrected today online. I said nuclear fallout of Raccoon City, and
Damn, they
it
dropped
turns out it
thermal
wasn't.
bears on them? That's crazy.
Hot grizzlies. Yeah.
Grizzlies.
It's the Revenant
I was,
all over again.
I was gonna to build off your point, Wes, about Leon. One thing I just highlighting that this game is gorgeous, just graphically. Like the RE engine always looks great, but especially in RE games, funny enough. But like Leon's model, especially, like I just love looking at him because you can see the years of just
You're not alone, buddy.
wear and tear. Like in his face, like he just looks worn down and just haggard, and you can see like, yeah, man, that's the face of a man that had to go through Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 6 and every other canonical and non-canonical spin-off and movie. Like and you're like, that's, man, we've been through a lot, buddy, haven't we? You do not look like someone that's having
Some
a good
people
time.
are really into that. Shout out Kenneth Shepard at Kotaku with
Hell,
his blog today that you should go read.
all-timer. Yeah. I think something that is really interesting about this is like we're in an era, and granted, like franchises are always doing this, but especially a lot of video game franchises are doing that thing where they kind of look back on themselves and get very meta about it. I was thinking about Final Fantasy VII Remake while I was playing this game, because obviously Final Fantasy VII Remake is a game deeply in conversation with its own legacy, its own series, its own reception over the years, how those characters have changed over time. You look at things like Twin Peaks The Return, you look at like Evangelion. There's a lot of that in modern works, especially when you go back to these long-running franchises. And what I kind of like about Resident Evil Requiem is that you feel the specter of Raccoon City. You feel the specter of everything that has happened in this game, especially for Leon, like you said, hanging over it. But it's also a lot of those characters, you know, Requiem, a ritual held to commemorate the souls of the lost, is for the living. It is for the people who are still there trying to deal with what has happened in the wake of it. And I think Resident Evil Requiem does not just kind of throw that out because it feels, you know, like, oh, Requiem's a cool world. It is a cool world. Cool word.
Cool gun
I
too.
can talk today. But it grapples a lot with, like you said, what it means for those characters to still be alive in the wake of all that, how to deal with a lot of guilt, a lot of feelings of what it means to be in this world and to be carrying the legacy of so many things. I'm having to talk around so much right now, but it's cool to see a series like this really grapple with that and do it very thoughtfully, I would say. And that I think is what put Requiem over for me as like a story in a game, is that it really does try to grapple with that stuff in a thoughtful manner.
Yeah.
I think it's also a matter of
ahead, Charles.
like with Leon as a character, and again, this is someone who's not played all of his games, but I'm just familiar with him. To keep him in a game and keep it interesting, you have to keep like raising the stakes. And I like that they're like, there's actually if we're in the middle of a game and Leon's going up against some crazy mutated monster that he's never seen before, the player has no doubt that Leon's going to be totally fine. There's actually no internal stake. There's stakes as a player of like, I got to figure out how to beat this boss, but there's no illusions that like, oh, this thing might kill Leon, because we're like, he's like a superhero at this point. So it's like the only way to like raise the stakes even higher is like, he's got this mysterious illness, but I think it's also just like making it internal and making him be like, I'm actually having like PTSD or something like that about these things that have happened. And that's like the only way to me that you can make someone like Leon relatable at this point in his story. And I think it works a lot.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk did something similar where like the main character V, you have this constant power rise to the point where you're basically like the most powerful runner in Night City, but you have that constant thing in your mind that is constantly like, this is going to be the end of you eventually.
I'm gonna die.
And
Yeah,
it was
like,
it was so powerful because of that. I love Cyberpunk, and I think Requiem is hitting a lot of those same notes.
Yeah, it's another game in the recent decade of, maybe in the 90s therapy wasn't as cool or talked about, but like a lot of people go to therapy today, including game developers, and I think that we're seeing the effects of that. You look at Kratos now, look at Leon Kennedy, like there are countless games that I'm not naming right now that are concerned with looking at what the main character has done. Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4, for example, like it's about, okay, this person is a god amongst humans, basically, for all intents and purposes. Whether it's plot armor, their killing abilities, like, what does that do to a person? What is that? What's going on inside of their head, outside of the constant barrage of one-liners he's coming up with? And I think Requiem does a really cool job diving into that.
God, Leon would have the wildest therapy sessions. Like,
Yes.
just imagine the things that he would talk about.
I wonder
And
how
then
many
I
sessions
told-
in until a therapist is like, we gotta stop these one line. You keep
Yeah,
you keep
yeah.
deflecting from your emotional turmoil. Yeah.
He's like,
Get
can I
back to
think
about that
that
eyeball monster again that you were talking about.
You could say I was afraid of it.
Boo.
I don't think he's not really.
Yeah,
He's not
booby,
really
booby at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not that kind of quip. he's a higher
Raphael, go
class
back to
quip,
your
Eric.
sewer. You're in trouble.
Yes, I'm gonna go brood for a bit.
Go back to your sewer. From
Yeah,
your
that feels
brother.
like that feels wrong.
From your own.
Honestly,
brother.
that is something I feel like Leo would say. They get an
Yeah.
argument.
Before we move on, because we've been talking about Requiem for a while, but I do want to touch on. I mentioned you go back to Raccoon City. There's a lot of things we can't talk about per the embargo. Ooh. But there will be a debate, and I don't debate's an annoying word because it's just conversation about fan service versus the opposite. Like when you use fan service, but it works. Fan service has like this derogatory term with it. And we're not talking like boobies and feet fan service. We're talking like nods to series history fan service here. And there is a lot of fan service just by sorry for the
I'm just picturing now. I had assumed it was callbacks. The recent.
Charles is dying suddenly. Guys.
I'm just
I think he's infected with the T
I'm
virus.
just imagining like I haven't gotten to the part yet, but I'm gonna unpause my Requiem playthrough.
What is happening?
oh no, we got a case of
It's not that funny.
a case of the
His head's about to explode into like a tentacle
I'm just
monster.
picturing Leon being like, "I need to lie down," and just takes off his shirt.
Yes, it's like rippling out a little bit. He's like, "Oh, these boots are really dirty now. Better get these off."
It's so stupid.
Close-up shot of his feet.
Yeah.
flexes his thighs and his pants like a rip off.
And just everyone,
Yes.
all the reviews I've seen of that's like the main critique they have is the fan service, and Wes is like,
Yeah.
actually, I think it serves the story really well.
Yeah.
We see his feet and his nipples. I think that's a
I
great.
need to eat, but I don't have a knife. Guess I'll break this watermelon open with my thighs.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the thigh master.
Yes. Give us
Well,
Resident
that's
Evil
what
10.
we do need this in Resident Evil 10.
Yes.
God, what a roller coaster to get to that.
Resident
I
Evil
don't-
Beach
it really took me
Volleyball.
over.
I've been saying it.
Yes. No, that's awesome. No, there is a lot it exists in the game, so it's fan service by default. But like what Capcom does with it, I think, is what elevates it above something that I would critique the game for. Like there are callbacks, there are nods, there are lots of familiar places, people, things, all kind of stuff like that, and it is. More than a nod to me. Like it's sorry, I'm trying to talk around. I'm telling y'all the spoiler embargo, whatever restrictions are very ridiculous for this game. But yeah, what they do with it and where they go with the fan service, if you want to call it that, I think it has a purpose, and it has a purpose that is well founded in the text of this game itself. Like I think it's yes, this is the game coming out for Capcom's 30th anniversary. Yes, of course, it's cool to see this, and this as a nod or return or whatever. But like, they don't. It's not just there for that. It has a purpose, and there's places where they could have done more and they didn't. And I think that shows that like the fan service exists only because of what it can do for the story, which is a very annoying way to talk around stuff that I don't want to spoil. But
we can probably do a spoiler episode in a few weeks, like
Yeah,
once people
yeah.
have played it. I think there'd be enough.
that would
of a
actually be,
demand for
yeah,
that.
I would love that. That'd be a lot
Yeah.
of fun. But that's Resident Evil Requiem. I gave it a 9.75. Please go read my review and then also go watch the video review we did. Alex Van Aken did an awesome job. It's my favorite review in a while. I think it's my best one too. I really wrestled with it and I'm very happy with how it came out. And I would appreciate if you read it.
Oh yeah.
I want to add on just to also say I played 7, 8, and now I'm playing Requiem, and I went back to play 2, but I agree with Wes that Requiem is my favorite. I haven't played a lot of the games, but I was really, as someone who doesn't play a lot of Resident Evil, I'm kind of weirded out how like Marcus roped me into the Resident Evil Outbreak Super Replay, and now like 6 months ago I hadn't played any Resident Evil, and now I'm like I played like 4 of them basically at this point. I guess 5 if you count the 2 times I started Resident Evil 4 and then didn't finish. But
That's how it goes. You're somebody who's not into Resident Evil. You play some of one, and then a year later, you're like, I have played 31 Resident Evil games. I've watched everything on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've watched every movie. Mila Jovovich is incredible. She is the
There's
face of Resident Evil.
there's another movie coming out this year by the Weapons dude.
Yeah, I
That's
can't wait.
so exciting. I love
And
it.
apparently, Capcom gave him like carte blanche to do whatever he wants with Resident Evil. So I think it's exactly what
I
we
just
should
want
go.
the zombies
The
to run
movie.
with their arms outstretched.
Yes.
I just want
T-posing
zombies.
zombies.
Exactly. Just do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the Resident Evil appeal. It's much like the T-virus itself. It's just infectious once it gets in you. One last question before we move on. You said this is your favorite Resident Evil. Do you think it's the scariest Resident Evil that you've played?
Ooh. No, I don't think so. I think the first half of 7 is still like the scariest. I'm partial to that because the scariest. I watched movies like Wrong Turn and The Hills Have Eyes like way too young, and backwoods family, maybe cannibals. My family's from Louisiana swamps. Like, it was a perfect mishmash of stuff that I'm like, this is my actual worst nightmare. The second half of the game made it a little easier to swallow the first half of the game because it just kind of took away a little bit of the fear I had, but I still think that first half is terrifying. I don't think Requiem is pretty scary, but not like that scary, especially if you are someone who has been playing these games for a minute. There's some pretty good scares. There's one that I almost posted this on Blue Sky, but then I didn't because I was a little embarrassed. But I'll say it here because, you know, we're family here. There was a jump scare that got me so good I farted.
Did it?
Is that a normal reaction to like?
No, it's a new reaction. It was that.
I think
I don't know if something
what
was
section
bubbling
it was,
or-
there's a section that's pretty scary in this game, and I've seen like I could see that being the reaction. Was it during like a flashback sequence, perhaps?
Yes, in a way. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That part horrifying. Yeah,
Eric,
yeah.
have you beat the game?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
Approximately.
That sounds like
What
no,
does
but
that mean
almost.
exactly?
Its completion percentage is up to the beholder, is what I'll say.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. That doesn't clarify for me, but I haven't finished.
No, it
so maybe
doesn't.
will one day.
No, I haven't finished it either. I'm deep into it though.
It was just a
I'm
moment
working my way through
where
it.
maybe I was too relaxed in the moment. I was not prepared for the scares coming. I don't remember what I had for dinner that night, but I was chilling. Tummy was rumbling.
Taco Bell
I got
did just
scared,
drop those
and I
new
pooted.
So wait,
what
did
it
you,
is.
did you
tacos or whatever. Yeah.
scream? Did you scream too, or was it just?
Well,
No, it was one of those like, ugh!
I was like, was the fart louder than the scream? Is what I'm trying to.
The concept of no scream, just fart is actually so funny. Or even just like you're sitting next to someone, you fart so loud, they're like, "What happened?" You're like, "Sorry, I got really scared for a minute there."
Yeah, I was just trying to see
Really the world for a minute.
what was louder on the scale. Like the fart was louder than the scream, or vice versa.
Yes.
I was trying to,
Yeah, no, the
they were
fart
competing
was
with
louder
each
than the scream.
other.
Yes.
The fart was louder.
I had headphones on too, which is great because my wife was next to me crocheting, and I don't
she
know what
heard
her
this.
reaction. Oh yeah. I don't know. I didn't like catch her reaction because I was in the game, but I do like the idea that like it's nice and peaceful and quiet, and then she just hears her husband do a little like oh, and it.
Yeah.
I'm sensing this isn't normal. I guess maybe this is just a me thing, but
It's the noise that precedes the fart that's somehow funnier to me than the fart.
God, I wish you'd written that in your review because Capcom 100% would have used that as a pull quote. You would have gotten an email
So
saying, "Hey,
scary,
can we use this part where you mentioned farting because you were so
Well,
scared?"
that's just
You'll
the headline to
shart
the
your
review. The headline to the review is just "I sharted." There's no other context. I sharted 9.75 out of 10.
the first time I've ever done that in Resident Evil history.
Yeah. Why'd you have to add the second part?
I lost 9.75 out of 10 of my bowels in that fart. Everyone,
Yeah.
that's Resident Evil Requiem. At the time that you're listening to it, the game will be out now, so you too can see if it scares the farts out of you. There it is.
Drop a comment if you've done this before. I know I'm not hopefully not alone. So let us
Drop
know if you
something,
are also
yeah.
a
drop
chronic scare farter.
Oh, geez. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some Steam Next Fest demos and WWE 2K26. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. And we are going to be diving into Steam Next Fest. Yes, it is back. Hundreds of really cool Steam demos now available at the time that you are listening. It should still be going on. It ends on March 2nd, which is Monday. So if you're listening to this on Friday, you still have the full weekend to dive into some of the games that we're going to be, I guess, ostensibly recommending that you check out. I think each of us have had a chance to at least dive into one or two demos. So we're just going to kind of go around the horn, share the ones that we have kind of like either enjoyed or at least found the most interesting, and kind of give our takes on it. I guess I'll start. This will be a quick one, but one that I was really looking forward to is a game called Wild Blue Skies, which is, I wrote this in a, there'll be a written version of this sort of like list of editor recommendations that might be up by the time you're listening to it. Actually, probably almost certainly will be. But I described it in my blurb about this game that this falls into a very specific subgenre that I like to call the fine, I'll do it myselfs. And the idea of like, hey, there's a game or franchise that I really like that the original creator stopped making. I'm just going to make that and just do it myself. In this case, Wild Blue Skies is, hey, Nintendo doesn't make Star Fox. I'm going to make a Star Fox. This game is Star Fox 64, maybe even specifically to a T, but also like refined. Like you play as I believe his name is Bowie. He's a dog, some sort of dog-like creature. You got a crew of fellow pilots who are other animals, and you're just flying through the skies, just gunning down all these targets and kind of like cool on-rail shooting sequences. It's got a really clean, sort of like cel-shaded cartoon animation style. And it's from the demo, which is very quick. It's like one mission that I think is framed as the second mission in the game, where you're like flying through like a big storm. It's checking off sort of like the Star Fox boxes of like the combat and just how dorky everyone in your team seems to be. Like you got the comms chatter where they're all like shouting little things like, hey, watch out for that. And gotta dodge. And then of course there's always one person that dies, and it's funnier than it maybe they want it to be. Where you're like, I got through this mission with 3 out of the 4 people. Like I lost a wildebeest guy, and I think he's alive. I think his ship malfunctioned technically, but hearing his sort of like I guess we'll call him death throes, even though he's alive. made me laugh in a way that I usually chuckled at, like the dark humor of like, lost Peppy. Well, he sucks. Or like, Flippy. So it's like, all right, I don't know if they've recaptured that, or maybe that part of my sense of humor has never grown up. But regardless, it's scratching those same itches. Like I said,
I was
demo's
instantly imagining one of those little pilots doing the
Sorry, my ship malfunctioned. My thrusters made a weird sound. I'm gonna go home now. Actually,
there's someone on my 6. And
well, Wes, I hope you don't immediately regret telling us that story, because now it's just part of your personality.
It's like GI canon now.
But yes, Wild Blue Skies. It seems pretty cool. Like the flight controls felt smooth. The combat feels pretty good. If you're a Star Fox fan, I highly recommend downloading this. It seems pretty promising, and it's supposed to come out in full sometime this year. Have any of you guys had a chance to check this out one?
I have checked it out last year because I was doing a preview thing for the magazine. I don't know if it's the same demo as this one. It probably is, but yeah, it's cool. It's really, really cool. I echo everything you've said. It's made by a former Riot designer as well, so it has like it has some sauce that I think somebody from Riot would deliver.
Also, I'm glad you said that. I forgot, and I believe it's the creative director, or it's one of the main. It might even be the studio head. Is ex-Nintendo and worked on the original Star Fox for SNES.
That's
so there is some like
sick.
I guess authenticity on the team. But yes, I'd throw that out there too. But yeah, Wild Blue Sky seems pretty cool. Check out the demo.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to chime up first. Eric, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot, so I'll keep it like down a little bit. I love Next Fest because there's always just something new around. I kind of wish Valve's tools were better at surfacing some things. I feel like we've been in a space now for a couple of years where discoverability on the Next Fest has been very difficult, and a lot of devs are struggling with that, especially as, you know, surprise, surprise, there's a lot of to be frank, like slop on the Next Fest, because there's a lot of, I mean, they have to disclose AI and stuff like that now, but there is a lot of that flooding in there, and so discoverability and all that is important. So doing segments like this is important. Go shout out people like Indie Informer and stuff who are doing a lot of the digging to go find a lot of these cool demos. Go check them out as well. For me, I think like the most discussion worthy one is probably Zero Parades for Dead Spies. This is the new Zaum game, which, if you know anything about Zaum, aka the makers of Disco Elysium, or the studio that made Disco Elysium rather, you know that comes with a big old list of footnotes.
And also, is that how you say their name? I've never heard their name said
I used to say Zaum or Zom, but I was told that apparently you're supposed to enunciate the like the backslash, like it is Zaum.
I just said Z-A-A, like I just said the letters because of the backslash, like Z-A-A-M. That's how.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a right way, but no real wrong way. Yeah. So yeah, this is Zaum. It is. I was doing some research. It is obviously difficult without just looking at a list of names next to each other and credits and stuff like that and current rosters to see like who remains of the people that worked on the original Disco Elysium. But obviously, a lot of the lead creators, the very recognizable names and faces that were out there, especially in the wake of the release and reception of Disco Elysium, have scattered to the winds. They're working on a lot of different projects now. Many of them are successors in their own ways to Disco Elysium. This game is very much in the vein of Disco Elysium. It is a isometric point and click CRPG, I would call it. You know, it's playing in the realm of CRPGs, Sims, a lot of Planescape Torment and DNA in there, a lot of obviously the original Disco Elysium in there, playing with this idea of you are a character who has kind of an internal monologue thing going on where the different facets of your personality, your abilities, your skills, your persona are split out into different things that you can level up, a la perks, right? So one of them is poetics. So just like, how poetic are you? Are you familiar with the arts? Are you somebody who likes this stuff? One of my favorites in this one is called Blueprints, and that is kind of the understanding of the city and knowing the urban structure. It's not quite history, but it's more what it means to live in a city and to understand people who live in a city, the nature of that and all that. And obviously those voices are kind of doing success and failure roles in the background, and sometimes they'll speak up or offer options in dialogue to move you forward. It uses die rolls a lot. Obviously, it's very tabletop inspired. The twist here is that each of those perks are kind of allotted into 3 different systems that kind of embody your, like, I would loosely say body, mind, and spirit, let's say. And you can exert, which means you can kind of add advantage. So if you're rolling 2 die and you need to get a certain roll to get a success, you can add another die to that roll and exert. But that means you take damage to that part of you. So say you like exert on a mind roll, you'll take anxiety because of that. When you hit certain thresholds on your anxiety, you won't be able to exert anymore. And there are also dialogue options, things that can happen in conversation that will give you anxiety, much like real life. And when you hit max anxiety, it'll bump you back down to 0, and you'll have to take a skill point out of something from the corresponding stat. So you de-level when that happens. And I think that's a really effective way of taking the structure of Disco Elysium and putting a little bit more like risk reward, push and pull. Citizen Sleeper 2 did this with its own systems last year, where it said we're going to add a little bit more risk and reward to these ideas and kind of put some more push and pull on that. And it worked really, really well. I think it's working well here. I think also what works well for Zero Parades is the setting. I think aesthetically, it's still very similar to Martinez from Disco Elysium. It's a lot of that kind of ramshackle, street corner of a European city type thing. There's a bazaar that you kind of tour around. There's, some like a 24-hour photo that you're going around. It's very like localized urban living in a way that's really dense and really fascinating because of that. You can find all these little pathways and things like that. And I love a lot of where you can see how the city transitions from being kind of structured and built for purpose versus like where people have kind of cobbled together homes and things like that. I always love that feeling. But you play a spy. So your whole setup is that you are a spy who had a crew literally called the Whole Sick Crew as one phrase. And you got pulled out because something went bad and all of them got zeroed out. All of them got taken out. And you're now back from the freezer, which is where they send, agents who aren't good at their jobs. You're back from the freezer to be put back in the field. And without saying too much about the intro of this game, your job goes bad from the jump. It's already bad. And so you kind of have the option to say, I want to still prove that I can do this. And you go and try to figure out what has gone wrong. Why did it go wrong? What are all these things at work? And I think the air of paranoia, of being suspicious of everybody, of not knowing if that person you're talking to at a shop is really trying to help you, or if they might be an agent for somebody, or if, they might be trying to get information out of you, but you're trying to get information out of them. It's really good in this system. It works really well. I think Disco Elysium was really good about like the pulp detective fiction side of investigating and looking into people, but it was very introspective. It was about Harrier's journey. And here playing as Cascade is your operative name, which is a really sick name. It's a lot more of a defined character, but you get to do a lot more of having these sort of almost verbal sparring matches with people, trying to get information out of them without kind of rubbing them the wrong way or giving up too much about yourself, blowing your cover, that sort of thing. And there's a real tension to a lot of the conversations that I enjoy in Zero Parades. So that's my way of saying, like, I think this is an academically interesting game. It is a fascinating follow-up to Disco Elysium. There is a big asterisk on that in terms of whether you are cool with the idea of Zaum as it is carrying on this banner when so many of its leads who made Disco Elysium in the first place left. Probably the same things you have to grapple with when you talk about modern Telltale. Probably a lot of the same things you have to grapple with when you talk about really a lot of like long running series, the way things are made in games. A lot of this just brings it to the fore because it happened so rapidly, so publicly, all within the span of the last few years. But I think as a project, this is definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on.
How long was that demo? That seems like That type of
I
game.
did not reach the end of it.
to demo.
I've heard
Okay.
people say that if you really stretch it out, probably about 3 hours.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's meaty. There's stuff to do in it. With a lot of these games, I try to spend about 30 minutes in them and then bounce. I treat it like I'm at, like a PAX or something, and basically, a dev is sitting you down in front of a game. You get to play it for a little bit, and then you get up and you go and you go on your way. Because with story games like this, you don't want to like spoil everything either, right? And so you want to kind of retain something for the eventual full playthrough. So
You play enough to
but
get the gist of it.
yeah. This was one of the few demos I booted back up, where I played my 30 minutes, I bounced, and the next day I was like, I could kind of go for more of that. I'm kind of feeling like playing a little bit more Zero Parades, and there are very few games on my list that I enjoyed a lot of them. I played 30 minutes of them, but I haven't gone back to them, and this is one of 2 games that I did go back to. So worth saying that.
Awesome. What about you, Wesley?
I've played one game for Steam Next Fest. It's called Arc Heron. Comes from Bonfire Studios. It's launching later this year. This is basically, it's in Steam Next Fest, but it's like an open beta that just happens to be happening at the same time as Steam Next Fest. It's advertised on Steam Next Fest, but like, this isn't a Steam Next Fest specific demo. This is a beta to go in and play a bunch of the game if you want to and help test it. It is probably one of the most unattractive pitches I have ever received. I did it for work, and it was one of those moments in this job where you're like, I'm going to do this because my editors have asked me to. It's not necessarily a game that I'm like dying to play. Stay with me here. This is like a isometric, dark fantasy, gothic, PvPvE battle royale game.
We're running for the hills. You said the
Yeah.
BR word.
Yeah, it's like, it's just not a game that I think there's room for more battle royales in the market, certainly, but not for me necessarily. That said, I played this and I'm sold. It's a blast to play. It is isometric in the sense that like it looks like you're controlling a character in the sense of Diablo, but curiously, a small change has like really changed how it feels to play. You, instead of moving your character in a rotation to aim and whatnot, you move I played on controller. The right stick moves the camera around the character, almost like, so it's almost like it feels like a third person shooter. And it's very weird to explain that this isometric game feels like a third person shooter, but it has the accuracy and the needed pinpointness of a third person shooter. And I really enjoyed that. So it is 15 trios, 15 teams of 3, so 45 total in a tower. And everybody starts on the bottom floor. The goal is to reach the top floor. Each floor gets smaller and smaller. I think there's like 3 floors based on what I played. And you start the game, you are just an avatar, and you search for loot on the bottom floor of this dungeon. And it kind of feels a lot like Hades in the sense where it's like the loot is random, kind of. There are these things called Eternals. There's 12 total in the game. There's 10 that rotate in and out of the loot rotation, I guess. And so they have different pieces of gear, different weapons, and I can't remember any of the gods' names because it's like sci-fi, fantasy mumbo jumbo. But let's say like sci-fi god A, his loot, if you collect 2 of his pieces, you get a set bonus. If you collect 4 of god A's pieces of loot, you can actually become him, which is super awesome when you're fighting other players in this battle royale. Anyway, so you're collecting loot, and at a certain point, a storm, it's magic, whatever, will start to close in, but it's not like Fortnite or other battle royales where the storm is like what you're trying to avoid. To move up to the next floor, you basically have to find this circular arena. It's like an elevator. And the only way it will allow you up is to like make a sacrifice to it, which is by killing others. So you are pretty much guaranteed to run into another team, maybe 2 teams in this arena, which is quite small. And only one of the teams gets to go up. So if 4 teams make it into the arena, only 1 team will survive. So you can really cull the numbers fast. And what plays out...
Oh, sorry, the circle, like, I assume because it seems like
so there's a storm
game.
that...
Is it
there's a
coming
circle...
up?
No, it's so you have like your map and you'll see, okay, it's time to move up to the next floor. There will be multiple spots on the maps marked. kind of
Yeah.
like those are the elevators, get to one. And the storm just pushes you towards one of those. Once you're there,
Okay.
you're basically waiting for another team to show up so that you can hopefully kill them and advance up. The combat that plays out is really, really cool and really strategic because you have different moves based on your loot. You have different abilities and bonuses and buffs. You have different ways to heal. You have like passive abilities. You have an ultimate. You have to work with your team to survive. And this is like a small little fight of like 3v3, but it's like it's such a weird thing. It's like it looks like Hades combat, but it feels like I'm playing Valorant or something like that, or a third person shooter. It's like really cool engaging with these other teams because it's not just we're fighting, one of us is gonna die. It's okay, boom, I just hit a third of his health. Let me fall back. Okay, I'm with this teammate now. We're helping this guy. He drops a health down. Let's heal up. Let's heal up. Okay, let's go out. Let's target this guy who's over here by himself. Almost in like a Overwatch kind of way where you're like, you're not necessarily trying to kill every person you shoot. It's like do some damage and maybe somebody else from your team will swoop in and finish it off for you. And it's just a really fun time. Like it's a unique feeling take on the battle royale genre, which is like such a tired sentence to say, I guess, but it is what it is. Like it's a battle royale that is doing something different and something that is enough to stand out for me, and I had a really good time with it. I can tell that I'm explaining it terribly, and that's because it's just a really hard game to explain. I even the first question I asked in my Q&A is like to the director. I was like, "Can you give me the elevator pitch for this game, please?" And he was like, "That is a really hard question." And I was like, "I know. I want to know what the elevator pitch is because
Well, he's like, the circle hasn't closed in yet, so the elevator's not working, so I cannot. pitch it.
exactly, yeah." Go back to your sewer. Who are you?
Oh,
Michelangelo.
wow.
Wow, Leonardo forgot his own brother's name. That's crazy.
I think we're slowly learning that Leonardo's a monster.
Disrespect.
Into the sewers with you. Yeah,
You know
so
if
like
this is this going to be a free to play game when it comes out, or
they didn't, or no, they did say they didn't announce a price, but it will be a premium paid game, which,
okay?
you know, I don't even want to like talk about pricing markets these days, because if we've seen anything, it's like being paid doesn't necessarily guarantee success. Being free to play doesn't guarantee success. Like there's nothing that guarantees this game
Being
is going
good
to survive.
doesn't guarantee
Yeah, exactly.
success.
Yeah, like
the Parks and Rec thing, like good game somehow also not successful.
yeah. But yeah, so it's just a game where it's like, if you look, people, we all like, you know, pause at hearing battle royale yet again, but like people really like battle royale genres. That's why these games keep being made. That's why they're some of the biggest games in the market. Like if you like those types of games and are looking for something that is not pick up an assault rifle and shoot, I think Arc Heron is probably one of the most promising of that ilk I've played in a while. I was thoroughly impressed for a game that I was like, I hate this on paper. There's no way I'm gonna like it.
Awesome. What about you, Charles? You've been jumping around, trying some stuff. Anything leaping out page at you?
Yeah, I had one game I want
Anything
to talk
making you
about.
fart?
Nothing made me fart. Which is that's crazy, Wes. Maybe I didn't like any of them. I don't know. There's one game called.
That's the new barometer for.
It's a new
Yeah,
barometer. You can't
How
get
many
above
times
a
The
did
9
EGM
unless you
face
fart.
scale, but it's just Wes going.
You gotta add it to our review rubric.
There's a game I played called Gladiators, where it's like gladiator, but the word "eat" is in there.
Oh,
And it's a fun, weird. I'm trying to pull up the developer real quick. Made by Milk Bubbles Games. And it's a weird kind of mix between a turn-based RPG, kind of Pokemon-esque, and like a cooking mama. So the way it works is when you go into battle, all of the monsters are food, and before you can have them in battle, you have to cook them. So different characters have like different sets of ingredients they can start with, and in the amount that I played, I only unlocked one character named Eggy who can only make eggs. But you can like boil an egg, and then I have a hard-boiled egg on legs, or I can fry an egg, and then I have this like hovering Starmie if Starmie was an egg, a fried egg. There's just like different steps you can do, and there's like a whole tree of all the options you can make for all these different egg-based monsters. But then there's also other guys you can play as well. And so you'll do like a Cooking Mama-esque mini game where it's like I'm boiling the egg. I have to keep tapping it down to make sure it stays below the water, and that's like a timing mini game. And then I have to do a thing where I crack the shell correctly, and depending on how well you execute that determines the stats for the food monster when it actually goes into the thing. So you can have like, oh, this is a really good team comp, except I really messed up the egg boiling process, so my guy isn't as good, or he's got like, this issue or that issue. And it's just an interesting like dynamic to. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's put a picture of Yoke Beam, which is one of the moves you can do in our Discord chat. And yeah, I thought it was a really interesting concept. I liked the cooking part a little bit more than the combat, but I don't know if I just like didn't unlock all that much of it yet. But I really liked the music, and then I played a little bit of like this I guess like story mode. You can do like the stories behind some of like the characters that you can play as. So I played a little bit of Eggy's story and her like obsession with eggs, and she grew up on the egg farm, was picking eggs to sell at the market and whatnot. But I thought it was just like a cool, it's always fun, a very indie game thing where it's like, I like these two games. I had never thought of combining them before, and someone combined it into like a cool new third thing of the first two things. Yeah, I found it very charming. I don't know if it's like a perfect game. It's also, just a demo, so it's not like done yet. But I'm curious to go back to it at some point when I'm making more foods and being a little bit more like intentional about like the teams I'm making.
I don't know. Are you guys familiar with an old anime called Fighting Foodons?
Yep. Fighting Foodons.
Yeah. It just reminds me of that randomly. I don't even know if that's like a completely like apt comparison, but it unlocked a core memory that I've not thought of that show in a very, very long time.
The thought of losing like to the Elite Four because I didn't poach an egg correctly is honestly like kind of awesome.
It is cool. And there was one like there's also a time limit in the cooking. So I made one guy correctly, and then I tried to make a hard-boiled egg dude, but I ran out of time on the shell cracking minigame. So I go in with my fried egg, and then I also have an uncracked hard-boiled egg, and he has a move he can use that cracks his shell and then turns him into the hard-boiled version. So it's not like I was even like fully stuck with the worst version. There's ways to like get out of it or play around with it, but they all have like different move sets and different abilities. There's one where like I didn't even get to fry the egg in time, so it was just kind of like a loose yolk in a cup, but it has all these like self-destruct abilities where it's like, we know this guy sucks, you don't want to keep him around, but he can like take someone down with him, or he can debuff someone else on the way out. It's like some cool like thoughtful design there.
Raw yolk does make me self-destruct. I have a weird question. I'm not really sure how to phrase this, so I'm just gonna ask it. Does the food want to be cooked? Like, is it excited about the fact that it's going to be cooked and then sent into gladiator battle, or like what? Does the food have thoughts?
It's a good question. There's a scientific advancement in the like intro cinematic for this game where scientists have discovered the Cal particle, and when that is put onto food, it comes to life and gets powers and can fight and stuff. So food is not all alive. It's just once you have the Cal particle, you can make your cooking.
It's like some MSG that you're sprinkling in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it like I think the world building. It's basically Resident Evil if it worked. It's kind of like they start off and they're like the Cal particle is discovered, and then the whole world went to war because everyone had all these like superpowered things, and then they decided actually we're just gonna have Coliseum matches to decide, international conflicts, and then it becomes more of like a Pokemon battling thing. So like some people have it and they can use it for sport or whatever, but it's not a thing that like everyone has all the time.
I do think the world would be a better place if we settled our differences with culinary battles. Truly, I think that would honestly just be a net positive for humanity's advancement. So I can support that.
Everything's Iron Chef, just for over policy and stuff. Man, this game sounds like, I don't know if they have like gym leader equivalents, but it should be like a celebrity chefs are the gym. Like Gordon Ramsay is in the Elite Four.
Yeah, Bobby Flay DLC.
It's Pikachu is raw.
It has honestly more of like a fighting game energy like to the world, where it's
Oh.
less of like you're journeying through and trying to do all this stuff, and more like pick your fighter. They each get this set of XYZ
okay.
foods they can make. So and again, this is me. I didn't play all that much of it. I played like half an hour, but I was unlocking new eggs specifically for the one character I had, Eggy, because she always starts with an egg, and then it's up to you what you want to do with it after you do something with it. There's a lot of like directions you can go, and egg honestly is a perfect tutorial food, because it's like there is a lot of things you can do with an egg, which is cool. Like I didn't even get scrambled egg. Stupid that it's a game that makes me excited. Like, ooh, I wonder if I can make eggs Benedict one day. I wonder what that process will be like.
Would a boiled egg just be the egg character from Garfield and Friends? Like Barn?
Sheldon?
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Was it Sheldon?
Sheldon, I think. Yeah,
was it
that sounds
Sheldon?
right.
Okay, it's been so long.
That's a weird.
I
that's
retain-
a show that is way too old for me to have watched, but I really liked.
I was
Garfield
surprised
as a kid,
you
and
were-
I got all the DVDs from Netflix in like
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like
2011
right
or
on
whatever.
it in a way that shocked me. But I'm proud of you also.
Thank you.
I guess real quick, a couple of other demos I played. Call of the Elder Gods, which is the sequel to Call of the Sea, which is a 2020 first-person sort of like puzzle adventure game that I really liked.
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually
interesting.
reviewed it.
Yeah.
It was actually my second Game Informer review. It came out not too long after I started. Sequel to that, set like 20 years later. You're playing as a college student. It's got two protagonists. It's her, I believe her name is Evangeline, and then you're also playing as the husband of Nora, who is the protagonist of Call of the Sea. So it's like in the 1950s, like late 50s, maybe like early 60s, and you're just then roped up in a new sort of like vaguely Lovecraftian supernatural horror. The demo, it covers the game's prologue and the first chapter. Like a big chunk of it is exploring this like the husband's like mansion in like this big storm. So you're like exploring the interior, you're exploring the like grounds and like greenhouses, just doing a bunch of, finding clues, jotting down a journal, interacting with little gadgets. Like, like if you play Call of the Sea, I really liked how like it's like a well-designed puzzle game, and it's also had like a just a cozy vibe to it, because it's not like, I didn't find it like overly challenging, but it was just like enough bite to be stimulating. And at least this first chapter, it kind of hit that where like, I've played harder games, but this is still gotta pay attention, like, observe, try to like if I miss a clue, I'm not gonna be able to solve a thing. But it's a nice meaty chunk, and if you're a fan of Call of the Sea, I think you should keep an eye on Call of the Elder God. Seems like it's hitting a lot of the same kind of like cool notes. So I like that. And then I also played a game called Soul Quest, which is like a 2D action game that's got basically like Devil May Cry inspired combat. You play as this warrior named Alice, who is trying to rescue her husband that was kidnapped by Celtic gods. And it's like a kind of like 2D, kind of like 16-bit-ish, like pixel art game. And the combat is very, very fun. You're doing things like you're popping people in the air, you're doing air juggles, you're like following the air, you can like keep them airborne for like really long periods of time if you get your like combo and timing right. You're unlocking a bunch of new like moves that all have just, specific combos tied to them. But that's kind of like the main event with this game, where like the combat's really good. Like the platforming and some of the dialogue stuff is just like fine, but the moment you get into a fight, it's like, okay, this is pretty fun. Like there's a little bit of sort of like pre-release jank in there, but for the combat to be like as enjoyable as it is now, it does make me excited to see like, it's supposed to come out this year. I don't know like if it's supposed to be later in the year, but just like with additional polish, how much better the game can be. But if you're like a stylish action sicko, I think this is one of the, like, I had not heard of this game until Next Fest, and now it's on my radar. But like, ooh, I kind of want to play more of this. Okay. But yeah, Soul Quest, check that one out.
I have a few quick plugs, if you don't mind. On the vein of action games, Might Rhea is one that folks should check out. It's about superheroes that kind of get employed to fight kaiju. It's very Devil May Cry, very spectacle action. It's a fun one. Ooh. If you like the idea of what if a My Hero game played like Devil May Cry, you'd probably enjoy this quite a bit. So that's one to keep an eye on. Titanium Court is a really cool match
Yeah.
3 puzzler that has a lot
excited
more
to try
going on than you think it does. It is surreal and playful and Shakespearean in really cool ways. Really, really like that.
And
Made
this is
by
AP
one of the people
Thompson
that
made-
worked on Consume Me.
Yeah, Consume Me. Yeah.
And this game has a sauce to it where it's a game that you play and it the thing I'm always looking for when I play a game, specifically an indie game, is like a clarity of design, a clarity of purpose. And this is a game that's like, it's a game that knows what it is more than I do right when I start it up, and I'm like, that's very exciting that I will know this game more the more that I play it.
Yeah, I've got that one downloaded. I'm excited to try that one.
And Vampire Crawlers, the new one from Ponkel. They made Vampire Survivors, and I joke in the blurbs that you will probably read eventually. In a Steam Next Fest awash with Survivor likes, Ponkel said, "We're gonna make a dungeon crawler," and it is a very traditional blobber, I think you would call them, first-person dungeon crawl, run-based. You even have the buttons where you turn. Yeah, that is the phrase. Blob. Yeah, blobber, I believe is what you would call this traditional dungeon crawl.
That's the team that made
Blobber
Layers of Fill,
team.
actually.
Yeah.
That's the Silent Hill 2 remake dev.
No, like games like your party-based dungeon RPG. I'm trying to think of like Wizardry, that sort of thing. Or like for a more recent example, like Legends of, is it Grimrock? I think is the game, or things like that. Yeah. First person dungeon crawl, run based, run into an enemy, bump action into them, go into a fight, and you kind of play a little Slay the Spire card game where you have all these items that are from Vampire Survivors, but they each have mana cost. You have a certain amount of mana per turn. Enemies advance towards you, and you have different ways of knocking them back to prevent damage or give yourself armor or things like that. It's a cool reinvention of what Survivors is that I think is deceptively deeper than it seems at first blush. The first time I played it, I was like, it's all right. It's got some ideas. I don't know. And then this is the other game that I went back to. And when I went back to it, I went deeper on it, went further in it, got more upgrades, started to see some of the things they were doing with what that game is. And I'm actually like very interested in it. There's a lot to do in the demo too. There's only 2 stages, but there's a lot to unlock if you want to go looking for that stuff. So that's a real bang for your buck on the demo there. So I think Ponkel is cooking. I don't know if they are there's been some early like, is this as good as Vampire Survivors? I think it's very good. You should check it out. It's worth checking out. And then Esoteric Ebb is another Disco Elysium like that is about a cleric. And you are in high fantasy, you do D&D instead of Disco Elysium stuff. So the voices talking to you are like strength, dexterity, constitution, things like that. It's very funny. It's maybe a bit too talkative at times for my taste, but I think the first moment I laughed out loud was when I wanted to go for a charisma character. And the embodiment of charisma as it talks to you wants you to be an apolitical people pleaser, in which it encourages you to tell somebody that you're not political because then everybody will love you for it. And I was like, that's such a funny way of embodying what a charisma play style is. Like, it's very clever in that way. It's very sharp, and I like that. So if that sort of thing appeals to you, I think Esoteric Ebb is worth checking out. I think that one is you can start it and the save file will carry over whenever that game comes out too. So that's one to note.
Does it use a D20 instead of the D6s?
Yes, it actually says like success in like 17 or something like that. And you have like the character sheet you fill out is very much like a traditional D&D sheet. It is like the framing. You are a cleric who's investigating a tea shop that has exploded like 5 days before this big election that's going to happen in the fantasy city.
More
is
like the
very
TNT
Disco Elysium.
shop.
Yeah.
You can come out of the sewers for that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks, Donnie.
Charles,
Yeah,
or sorry, not Charles, Donatello. Those are the decisions I make. So go to the sewers. You don't get to
Leo,
that's not up
you
to
put people in the sewers. I can let them out.
Donnie.
Oh
that
no,
what
he's
you
using
think
his
Leo
leader
sounds like?
voice.
Is that the
With
voice?
you. Donnie.
Leonardo, use the voice.
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, those are all cool games. Check them out.
Awesome.
Also, just want to note, all three of you are based on the podcast that we have been through. All three of you are in the sewers. It's actually just me, not in the sewers.
That's
So
where
are
we're
you, like-
I
supposed to be.
tried
Are
to
you,
get
like, on
us
the
out of the sewers, and Leo pushed me.
Yeah.
back here.
I mean,
We're
that
actually
is like
having
our
so
home.
much fun down in
The
the
turtles are
sewers.
supposed
Yeah,
to
we
be in
lived
the
in the
sewer.
sewers. We're having pizza and stuff. Are you just
pizza
like
came
on
down
the
here.
streets of
You're
New
not-
York alone?
No. You guys are like in the sewer, like offshoots. You guys aren't in like the main hub where we play Magic.
We're in the sewer
and
sewers?
SNES and stuff. Yeah, like you guys are in the sewers. I basically sent you back to the canal from which you were born, a reverse birth, if you will. And if the talking back keeps up, I'm gonna remove the mutagen from you, and you guys are just gonna be turtles again.
Just gonna be turtles.
Sorry, guys. One sec. Master Splinter? Yeah, okay, I'll tell him.
Bro,
Yeah. Apparently,
Tell Master Splinter whatever
Leonardo
you
has
want.
to come down in the sewers now. Master Splinter
Oh,
said.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
tell that old rat to.
Hold on. I got a text. Yeah,
what words
that's
can I
right.
use
I feel
to
like
leave.
Wes, I think Wes, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of Leonardo's character.
I heard leader. That's it. That's all. It went straight to my head
Wes went drunk with power after about 5 minutes.
immediately.
That's
You
one
give
of
a
the new
man
magic cards with Leonardo on it. It's just drunk with power.
Leonardo comma drunk with
Sewers.
power. That
it's just like
To the sewers, all of you.
You give him dual
Coming
katanas,
up with new
and he just
voices
becomes a
too,
big
and none
shot.
of them- you get
voice
older and
really
gruffer
is
every
Get
time
in
you
the
attempt to
sewers!
Batman's trying to put me in the sewers.
But yes, Steam Next Fest, everyone, still ongoing. If you're listening to this, it lasts until March 2nd, Monday. Be sure to check out. We'll have a written feature with all of our, and probably a few other editor picks for the demos that we enjoyed. So be sure to give that a read. And yeah, shout out to all the awesome devs putting stuff out for Steam Next Fest. I think all of ours are one of our favorite sort of like, I don't know, events. Do we call it an event every year?
It's kind of an
Or
event.
multiple
It's also the
times a
first
year?
time I've like
As I
really
said, there's-
engaged with it, and it is like a fun little sample platter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting to sample things, guys, it is my time now, and I've queued up a little ditty here to signal what's coming next.
Did he?
Uh-oh.
Hold on, wait, I don't know if it came through.
Eric, as the person that's going to edit this podcast, is clenching so hard.
Yeah, it's time for the
didn't
wrestling
hear it.
hour.
Don't tell
None
him
of that
because I don't
came
want to
through.
have to deal with copyright
Oh, no,
checks
wait,
and
hold
stuff.
on.
No,
Wait,
this
hold
worked
on.
out perfectly.
Oh wait, it didn't come through. Okay, well,
Is it in your headset? Which would be
no,
really
it's my
funny if
phone.
you're
I'm
hearing
holding it up at a speaker. If you can
Whatever
see here,
you put in, I'm going to edit out. So I'm just going
Okay,
to tell
well,
you that right now.
for radio watchers, you see there, it's Cody Rhodes' theme song. I couldn't use CM Punk's
We all
because
know it.
he uses an actual licensed song. So that's probably that's John Cena, Wesley. That's a different person.
Oh, I think
He's
this one
retired
goes
now.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant
Teenage
Ninja
Mutant
Ninja
yeah.
Turtles. You know, fun fact, wrestling Ninja Turtles, there is crossover because in the 90s, very briefly in WWF at the time when it was ultra cartoony, they did have a tag team that were straight up Ninja Turtles. Like they put two guys in turtle suits. I forgot what they were called, but they were blatant rip-offs of Ninja Turtles. I don't know if they were ever on TV, but there is YouTube footage of like house shows where you see two guys in turtle suits in a tag team match. I think they were called like the Awesome Turtles or something barely different.
Good.
They'd
I like
be-
that fun fact. Mikey, come out of the sewers.
Oh, thank you, thank you, Leo.
They'd be so bad at that because they end up on their backs and they can't get back up. Like they're just pinned when they fall
They
over.
do that during the match. They get knocked down and they do the whole I can't get. This is like peak movie era, and they were just really committed. They were trying to get hired. I think it's what they were. They were nobodies. Are like, well, if we can make this turtle gimmick work, maybe we'll get hired and get real gimmicks. But yes, that's all to say. WWE 2K26. I got to play it. I went to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, which is pretty wild in itself because they don't just let people in there. If you're a wrestling fan, you've probably seen videos of this because they've done things on like WWE social channel. They've had events or just had like celebrities go or wrestlers show up there. But it's like a new facility. The building's only 3 years old. The original Titan Towers that was WB headquarters forever is gone now. And now they got this fancy new building with a giant championship belt outside the building that acts as their sign. Like it's literally, guys, the WWE championship, but like bigger. And it's just the like, hey, this is WWE headquarters. It's kind of wild looking. But I got to go there alongside some other journalists and influencers and like wrestling media. There were like 20 wrestlers, like superstars there hanging out with us. Paul Heyman was there, Oba Femi, Drew McIntyre, Blake Monroe, Trish Stratus was there, legend. God, I could just rattle them off. I know all your favorites, guys. I can see all the reactions. You're like, my God, he can't stop naming the people I know and love. CM Punk was there.
Okay,
I know that one.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Mark,
just
John
gonna
Cena
name
there?
When you talk wrestling, it's kind of like I have a family member who speaks Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. But if you speak enough Spanish in front of me, eventually I'll be like, "Cebolla, that's onion. I know onion now."
You start to pick it up a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny. Like all the wrestlers you guys probably would know in terms of like the big mainstream people. None of them were there. There was in the lobby. There is a like literal like 3-story tall picture or painting, I should say, of Andre the Giant. I assume you've heard of Andre the
that's
Giant.
sick.
You've seen Princess
Bride.
Bride, right?
Yeah.
Anybody want a peanut?
Your Andre's better than your Leonardo. I'll give you that.
Is it?
I didn't say it was good. I just said it was
words
better.
that Andre the Giant has said before, and that seems to be the bar.
I like Wes's commitment to just doing a voice, like not doing a voice of somebody, but just a voice, and then saying a line from a character.
But yeah, I got to play a few hours of 2K26. Long story short, and maybe you've already read I've got a full written preview on the website right now, but my sort of like brief verdict is, yeah, it's a WWE 2K game. Yeah, they made another one of those, believe it or not. There's some new gameplay tweaks. There's new like they've reworked the stamina. They've reworked some weapons physics. You can do more barrier, like throwing people into the barricade, like more interactions there. You can stack 2 tables on top of each other for the first time, or at least the first time in a long time.
Love that.
That's cool. And you can light them on fire. If you watch the new gameplay today video of WWE2K26 that Eric and I did, Eric, you had a very visceral reaction to just the image of 2 tables stacked and being on fire.
Because it was literally 2 people wrestling in a ring, and then they kind of like roll to the side, and the camera pans, and you just see 2 tables stacked up on fire, like with no like understanding of how that happened. And like there's something about seeing tables stacked and on fire. It's like this was done. This is deliberate. This is not a happenstance that is occurring, and it was very jarring. So yeah. Go watch me be frightened for 40 minutes in that NGT.
and guys, he won't tell you this, but after we filmed that, he DM'd me asking when WWE was coming to his town so that he could get tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the first thing I did.
He was like,
yeah.
I have these 2 tables I'm trying to get rid of. I have to have an outlet for it.
I think I know what I'm going to do with these now. And now.
Yeah.
I would go to a event. I saw John Cena in Jacksonville, like when I was way younger. I still have the shirt that my parents let me buy.
You mean like you saw him out and about or at a show?
No, like at a show. I saw WWE.
Oh.
I don't know if it was WWE. It was whatever wrestling
It'd be WWE.
he was with. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You got a John Cena shirt? You still have it?
Mm-hmm. It's green. I don't wear it, obviously, because I am much larger. It is green, and it has a hand, like that hand, yellow on it.
You might say it does a little bit of this.
It
right
says you
here?
can't, or no, it says you, and then it has the hand, and it has the red like cross out logo. So it's like you can't, and then it says see me.
It's classic Cena.
Is that his whole thing, that he's like invisible? I've never understood that bit. So like, is it like he moves too fast for the human eye to follow? It's you'll never see me coming or whatever.
God,
or
Eric, you can't
Never
ask me
see
things
me
that are rap.
coming.
If you want the brief history of You Can't See Me, it basically when he was
there's a long
just
history
getting
of You
started,
Can't See Me.
He's been doing it for 20 years. and he only just retired last December, like for good. But like he got big because he had a rap gimmick. He was a rapper. He had basically a Marky Mark parody. And that's where
okay.
It was a parody of
yeah.
the Tony Yayo G Unit, like the hand in front of face.
That certainly was an era. Yeah.
Yeah, mid 2000s.
Some of his raps, and there's some other WWE wrestlers that joined him on his album, right? If I remember correctly.
Oh, like the one album he put out, You Can't See Me, in 2005. I don't
But you can
know
hear
if anyone
him.
else joined him. Like he has other rappers on it. I don't think he has other wrestlers on it.
Oh, I don't remember. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that it's good in 2026, but I do remember. I have memories of listening to it and being like, "This kind of goes."
Wait, you
back
had
in the day,
that
like-
album? You're like coming out as like a closeted Cena fan. You're like, I saw him at a
I-
show. I had a T-shirt. Now you're saying
I
listened to his album.
I have a dormant like WWE. I don't even know. It might have been a Cena specific WWE period in my life where me and my brother got really into it, and my parents like took us to see WWE in Jacksonville here, and it was awesome. I just don't. I've never reconnected with that part of me, but now
Wes,
that I'm
it's
now
like
it's
Wes
being
took-
brought out of me. It's I feel a history there.
It's like you took Spanish in high school. I feel like is what's happening.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
actually know more.
And
of the
suddenly
words
you're
Marcus is
ordering and you're
saying.
like,
Yeah, like hold on. Actually, this I kind of know. I'm picking up.
I remember the Cena chapter. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
God, what were we saying? But yes. Anyway, WB2K26. It's largely that game again with some subtle tweaks. I say that with a grain of salt because I only played it for a limited time and I had to hop around a bunch of different modes because there's a lot of modes in these games. So you have to wait for my review, which shouldn't be that far away because the game comes out March 13th, which is not far from now. I got to try the 4 new match types. As I mentioned up top, the new gameplay today video, you can see my gameplay kind of like showing them off. But they have Inferno match, which is it's fun. It's cool. You know, the idea of the match is that the ring is surrounded by fire guys and you have to light your opponent on fire to win the match. This is a real thing that WWE has done before.
yeah, it seemed
they-
really dangerous. You know, I'm just going to
Oh,
put
it
that
is.
out there. I think that's
Yeah, well,
a
the
bad
first time
idea.
The wrestlers
time they
get lit
did
on
it, like,
fire.
They get lit on fire. That's how you win. It's the only way to win.
Yeah, there's literal fire around the ring and it's just like torching everything and you like roll into it and stuff. And I was like, I know that there's probably safe ways to do that, but that still seems like a really bad idea.
Well, you
And
know,
so
the
then you
first
get-
time it happened.
Just go on, Marcus. Break it down for me. I have so many questions. I assume you'll answer once
Yeah.
you explain 2 things.
Well,
about
you
this
get
mode.
lit on fire, and then you get immediately extinguished by the ref that has a fire extinguisher. But, you know, the idea of the match was born between The Undertaker and Kane, whose storyline, Kane was The Undertaker's brother who died in a fire, and you thought he was dead, but then he came back as an adult wrestler, but his face was horribly burned, so he wore a mask, and he could manipulate fire because Undertaker also has superpowers because he's a dead man. So Kane was basically a pyro version of Undertaker, and at one point they had a match where the ring was surrounded by fire because that's what kicked off the feud was Undertaker burned their house down and presumably killed Kane when all he did was scar his face horribly. Does that make sense? Do you understand now? What doesn't it make sense? That's
Yeah.
how you would settle
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Did Kane go to hell and is Drag Me to Hell, which I think stars Kane? Is that relevant? I've not seen
He's-
that movie.
Depending on the era, he's implied that he's been to hell. He calls himself the devil's favorite demon. And there was a very funny like promo years ago where he was talking to a guy named JBL who is just like his character was that he's a Texas billionaire basically, and he has a finishing move called the clothesline from hell. It has nothing to do with like there's nothing supernatural about him. It's just like I hit you so hard it comes from hell is what it comes from. And Kane walked up to him and said, "I've been to hell and I didn't see your clothesline anywhere." And it's the single
that's pretty
greatest
good.
thing that
That's
Kane
pretty
has
good.
ever said.
That's really
Yeah.
That would make Leon Kennedy blush.
Leon
Yeah.
Kennedy.
That would make me fart. That's really good.
There's the I Quit match. The idea of that match, you beat them down to where you have a microphone, you put it to your opponent's mouth, and they have to willingly say that they quit. It's like really humiliating. That's in the match or in the game now. It's a decent match type. It's basically a lot of these match types, and that's true of the real version, we're like, oh, you're still doing the regular wrestling, but you just win slightly differently. So whether you're lighting your opponent on fire or you're putting a microphone in the face and they're doing like the little mini game where you have to stop the meter into the green section to escape, that's pretty much the same. There's the the dumpster match. You guys are gonna love this. So a dumpster match, there's a literal dumpster at ringside, and to win, you have to throw your opponent in the dumpster and then close the lid so that they're trapped in the dumpster. And then if you're the New Age, and if you're the New Age Outlaws in 1998, you take it to the next level where you trap your victims in the dumpster and then you push it off a stage through a bunch of tables and probably really mess them up good.
Are the tables on fire?
Not in that
Are they
specific
stacked?
instance. I don't think they would feel it because they're in the dumpster.
Right, yeah, it's just like that, I just thought that's what the table.
But it would look cool. I get what you're saying.
I don't know if that's how that works. I don't know if that's how that works.
What else? Last match type, 3 Stages of Hell, the other new match type, which is basically a 2 out of 3 falls match where every fall is contested under different rules. So the first match can be a regular wrestling match, but then the second match could be a ladder match. And if you get to the third match, assuming that they each score 1 fall, it could be a different stipulation, like a cage match. It's a very popular match type. We don't get it very often. We actually got one a month ago for the first time in like a decade that happened between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. But that's another highly requested match type that is now in the game. The other modes are still there. My Rise, which is like the story-driven, sort of like choice-driven adventure. It's, as from what I played, it's the same as it always was, just with a different narrative. Same with Showcase, which is kind of like the playable documentary that usually centers on whoever the cover star is. In this case, it's CM Punk. You're playing through CM Punk's greatest hits of his career, where every match is like a real historical match from his career recreated. And you can do like optional objectives in the match where it's like, hey, in this match, he hit a clothesline at this one point, so you got to do the same, or you don't have to win, but if you do, you'll unlock rewards that can carry you through the rest of the game. Like, oh, here's another version of CM Punk. Like, here's 2008 Punk or 2011 Punk. And you get like live action kind of like video packages, and as well as like Punk himself is narrating it, where he's just like, yeah, it's crazy how that one time I had that match that you just played, man. Pretty crazy. That's a you guys might have not realized it, but that was not CM Punk just now. That was actually me.
Oh, okay. I was just so used to Wes's impressions where it's so clear he's trying something and then it's something else that it just didn't occur to me that, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, if I had said best in the world, you would have been 100%.
Yeah, then we would have locked in. I did want to ask so I did a editing passenger preview and was just thinking about this game as a concept. It's one of those things where it's like annual sports game release where it's like they're just they're doing another one and they're like trying to iterate a little bit, but they've kind of figured it out. So they're just sort of doing it again and updating the roster and stuff. Is there anything that you in this game, you're like, if they had this thing or if they changed something in this way, then I'd be like very excited for it? Or do you think it's kind of just like, is this as much as you're like hoping to get from it? Just that it's more of the same.
I mean, kind of the most exciting things you can do for this franchise is just keep adding match types that haven't been introduced yet, because there's so many different wrestling stipulations. There's wild stuff that they still haven't touched on, that even maybe not even necessarily stuff that WWE themselves haven't done, but other wrestling promotions, like in Japan, a very famous match type, especially back in like the 90s, is like the exploding barbed wire death match. That is exactly what it sounds like. Like, man, what if they just added that randomly? Even though as far as I remember, I don't think that it's ever actually been contested in WWE specifically. But as a wider wrestling fan, that might be fun to have. But other than that, it would just be sort of like more refinements to the gameplay. Like the modern 2K games, one thing that they've done that people have liked is that they've made them a little bit less dense in terms of the controls and a little closer to, I would never say it's truly arcade-like, but it's like closer. But people really like the more arcadey games of like, you know, going back to like the N64 where like WWF No Mercy, WCW, NWO Revenge, like considered some of the best games of all time, especially in the wrestling genre. And then you get to the 2000s with like SmackDown versus Raw, which are also like a very beloved series, or even the just SmackDown series before that. They will probably never go straight to like the pure arcade style of those games because they're a little bit more a little bit more focused on realism.
I
But
I find that so strange though, because like those games are like I'm not a wrestling person. I don't go here, and I know that if you talk about the wrestling games everybody loves, it's always an N64 cartridge. It's always plugging that thing in and playing whatever those games were. I can't even remember the names of them. I could just picture them in my head.
Sure.
And I find it interesting that modern iterations are so driven to not do that. I mean, it's kind of the same in the sports games world writ large, where a lot of the fondly remembered sports games are also very arcadey, also like maybe don't have as much of the sim elements. And it's weird that the most popular version of it tries to straddle that line rather than either go one way or the other. And I wonder
Yeah.
like why do you think that is? Like why not just give the people what they want in that moment? Do you think there's still a contingent that really does like the way that 2K is doing this?
I think there is, because these games always sell like gangbusters every year. Kind of like the way Madden always sells, NBA 2K always sells. Like, I think there is that large portion of the fan base that does want something that is closer to what the real life product is. And for wrestling in particular, because wrestling is so theatrical, like the 2K games do a good job of sort of like emulating some of the very specific nuances and like tropes of like in-ring wrestling of like, oh, there's a mini game for the classic thing where like two people just punch each other and they just take turns punching each other really hard until one of them goes down. Like that is a very wrestling specific thing that you can't really just do freely, but there's a bespoke mini game to initiate that. So you see it and you go like, okay, they're doing the boo yay punch as the good guy and bad guy trade blows with each other. Like that stuff you didn't really have in the older games, because again, it was a lot more just arcadey. Like you just went in there and did moves to each other. This one, there's a lot more like scripted sequences that like have mini games tied to them that I've always been sort of like, depending on what they are on the fence, like the modern games have scaled back. There was a time when they were like all over the place, the mini games, to where it just felt clunky and just got in the way of just trying to just play the game. Now I think they've kind of found like a pretty decent balance. But I mean, to your point, I will always prefer the more arcadey stuff. Like I grew up with, like I said, those N64, PS1 era games. The like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain for PS2 is also one of the greatest wrestling games of all time. Like I have a fondness for that era, and I didn't really like the early 2K games up until the famous disaster that was 2K20 back in 2019. But since they came back with like 2K22, I think they have gradually kind of like found like a decent middle ground. I think if you still want those arcade games, you're not going to like these games no matter what, because it's just not that. But I think if you want like a decent-ish middle ground, this is like a fine option, because the games play pretty well and can be very fun when you're in there, especially against other people that are like semi-good. Like there's still a lot of fun, goofy back and forth when you're just throwing weapons and like thumbtacks and lighting two tables on fire and all that stuff. Yeah, the other modes, like I said, they're more or less not crazy different from each other, like the island, which is like the big explorable hub thing. The big thing with this game is they're ditching their DLC packs and they're doing a battle pass now that they call Ringside Pass. Like that's new. So they have like a premium tier and a free tier, and you're unlocking new wrestlers, cosmetics, all that stuff just by playing. And you can earn XP in any mode, which is like nice. That is kind of like a wait and see in terms of like how well it's implemented. I think if you don't like battle passes in general, like nothing they do is going to be happy or great for you. You're going to probably miss the old DLC pack model. I'm on the fence, and for me, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, so I've not really engaged with a ton of battle passes. But there is still like a satisfaction in just like, oh, I played a few rounds and I just got like 5 things unlocked. That's kind of cool, just like a passive progression. But it just depends on how long does it take to get to the end of a tier? How much does it feel like they'd be like, hey, you could pay us real money and skip these tiers and get Stone Cold Steve Austin 1998 right now, Like, can I get this on my own in a reasonable amount of time,
As someone who's been getting back into Overwatch in my spare time, it is a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Where it can be a really nice thing where you get some nice free progression and, oh, look, I got loot boxes. Oh, that's fun and all that. But then you start looking into the details of like, oh, what is this mythic shop? How does this work? And you're like, oh God. And there's kind of a balance to it. And so I'd be curious to see where 2K ends up on that side of things.
Yeah. Also, guys, I think I know a wrestler that I think maybe even especially you, Charles, is someone that appreciates improv and theater that's in this game, because AAA, which is one of the biggest lucha libre companies in Mexico, so WWE acquired them last year, and so they have representation in this game. So there are AAA wrestlers, there's AAA iconography, there's just AAA stuff in the game, which means that one of the hottest AAA wrestlers that kind of like took the world by storm on a grander stage when he started appearing in WWE is a guy named Mr. Iguana. Now, when you hear the name Mr. Iguana, what do you think? What do you think he's all about?
Iguana mask.
Maybe he is from South Florida, where iguanas fall out of trees, and he dives from trees to attack enemies.
That'd be fun. Brings a tree to each match.
I think he was bit by a radioactive iguana.
That would also
and is now part man, part iguana.
You know what? You might actually be the closest, Eric.
Hell yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He does wear.
One more. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say, is this the guy from Spider-Man 1?
The
lizard?
reptile?
No, the
Dr. Kirk
the dude he
Connors?
fights.
No.
No, the luchador fight that Spider-Man goes to.
Oh, Randy Savage, Bonesaw.
Because he said
Macho Man?
Bonesaw McGraw, the character that Macho Man played.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah.
I did not know that was. Because you said he got
stuck
bit
in
by an
here with
iguana, and you were
me.
like, "You're the closest," and I'm like, "Oh, bit by the animal
I see what you're
thing."
saying.
Spider-Man.
So he's in a Spider-Man movie. I see the paths your brain went there.
You went a whole
I don't see the
weird-
neuron pathway that got you there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Donnie,
Yeah.
you can come out of the.
Yes, I was almost gonna ask, but I didn't want to be too greedy.
I
about it.
respectfully stay down here.
Oh my
but
gosh,
Mr.
it's so much better out of the sewers. Now that I'm actually out of here, I don't have to pretend it's actually better down there. It's actually really cool. up here.
No, it rocks down
what a
here.
sellout.
No pizza for you, Raphael.
He just
They
has,
got
like,
pizza in the
Palpatine now. Which maybe it's just Leo gave himself to the dark side. Now he's just basically Palpatine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What's the Mr. Iguana thing then?
So he's
Why would we know
I
him?
highly recommend looking up a photo or a video of him, but he's a guy in a green jumpsuit. He paints his face green and black. He has these cool little glasses, and he comes out with an iguana puppet named, I think it's Lieska. And he
Does it
crawls to
speak
the
to him?
ring with it in its. He has the puppet in his mouth, and the puppet is alive as far as he's concerned. Like it is not a puppet. It is a real iguana. It's kind of like the Muppet rule, where like they're not puppets. It is just a real iguana, and he incorporates it into his matches. He like tries to fight people with the puppet iguana, and he's the most precious thing on earth. He gets knocked down on his back, and he plays dead like an iguana does. He's just
Didn't
The more I
mankind
learn about
do that?
WWE, the more that I feel like society is wrong for saying like it's all fake. Like it feels very much like WWE wrestling in general leans into it being fake. Like it is a enjoy this.
They do
for what it is.
documentaries now, straight up showing you like, yeah, they're talking about the matches and stuff. Like they don't even hide it anymore.
It's
Yeah.
theater. It's
Yes,
you're attending theater, like sporting theater. And like it's appealing in that way. Also, didn't Mankind have a sock puppet or something like that? Am I inventing
Mr.
that?
Sacco.
Yeah, Mr. Sacco. Okay, cool. That's one of the other. Thank you, 30 Rock, for
He pulled it out
giving
of
me
his
that
crotch,
piece of
put it on
information.
his hand, and then did the
Didn't know
mandible claw,
that
which
part.
put
That
it
he
in
like
people's-
red hot chili peppered Mr. Sacco. That's kind of crazy.
That was his finishing move. He pulled it out of his sweaty crotch during matches, put it on, and then shoved it in your mouth.
So he just full
claw.
like red hot
and
chili
then he would
pepper
just
that
make you
sock
submit.
puppet, and then and he put it on after. That's
and it had a little face. He drew a little face on it with Sharpie because it was a person. Mankind was a
Okay.
strange man. Mick Foley.
Yeah, but that's not like theater. They're like tasting
Oh no,
Yeah,
you
no,
can't
like,
say
if you
that. I mean,
Finish that thought.
WWE is like wrestling hurts. Like wrestling is real. Like the things they do to each other is real. You just, as a wrestler, you sign up and say, "I guess I'm taking that sock tonight." I see I'm facing Nick.
Oh God, you're gonna take this sock. Yeah, yeah.
I'm imagining like their morning stand up with all the wrestlers. Are like, all right, guys, this week we got a match. Who's gonna take the sock this week?
All right, guys.
That is
Wednesday.
basically how it
matches
goes,
this weekend.
Charles.
Yeah, you're taking the sock. Is it your turn on the sock rotation?
no,
and
I took-
Mankind's just
Or-
sitting over there.
I
In
mean,
the
a lot of
corner the
times
whole
you would-
time, like.
A lot of times, if you did tours like the house show loop, you were paired with one person, so you wrestled them multiple times in different cities. So you would take
That's
the sock every
crazy.
night. If the ending's the same of like, okay, you're losing to him via sock, then you're going multiple nights in a row taking that sock.
Just pull them aside. You're like, hey man, I got these little scent pods you can put in the laundry just when you wash the sock, just for my sake. Just if it smelled like roses and crotch, like that's fine. As long as we're adding something that's not crotch in there, I'd feel a lot better.
Crotch roses. Are you
That
guys
sounds
familiar
like
with?
a horrible disease.
Are you guys familiar with Rikishi? Have you ever heard the name Rikishi?
No.
Big Samoan guy. He wore like a sumo wrestler kind of like thong, but his gimmick was that he had a move called the stink face because he is a big man, big Samoan guy, big butt, and when you got knocked down in the corner, he would pull his thong up even more, so he basically give himself a wedgie, and then he would shove his butt into your face and rub. He basically rub his butt in your face, and it was called the stink face, and it was the most popular moves during like the 99, 2000, 2001 era. And you can find compilations of him
That's
doing
called
this to
conjunctivitis, is what that's called.
and sometimes he got people. Sometimes he got people real good with it, where their face would disappear between his cheeks. And again, that was something where if you listen to interviews with wrestlers that have taken it, they're like, "Just show must go on, man. you just take it." I think they said if he liked you, if he didn't like you, he would make sure his ass was like not clean. But if he did like you, he would like powder up down there and stuff like that.
Doing the like Flintstones bird, it's a living, but about like getting your face shoved into a wrestler's butt is kind of crazy.
The thing with this is like you can do all the prep you want, but if this is happening in the match, after the match, like his butt is gonna be sweaty.
He's been
His
using
crotch is gonna be sweaty. Like there's no running from it. You just gotta take that.
And if he
Wes-
gets
Wes.
scared, God help you.
Hey, you know what they say about wrestling? It ain't ballet. Show must go on. You
Yeah.
just do it. I mean, you're already agreeing to get
Say
beat
that
up.
on anything that's not ballet.
Raphael, I know what's happening in the sewers tonight.
You're either gonna get lit on fire. Oh, Jesus.
Terrible implications.
HR.
I'm so glad I'm out of the sewers.
I think the shell would get in the way, but
Oh my gosh.
probably hurt more.
I knew there was a
Um,
reation I didn't like
can we
Teenage Mutant Ninja
End
Turtles.
this episode.
We need to stop.
Don't you have to be somewhere, Wes?
I did, but I forgot, so we're good.
He's so drunk with power, he lost his memory.
Oh my god.
But yes, WWE 2K, you can read my preview now. I will say real quick on game aside, it was cool. Like we got to tour the headquarters. Like they took us on like a little tour. We couldn't take pictures or anything because they were like, it's a workspace. But we got to see like, where they film all their like little YouTube contents and their like fancy production rooms and stuff like that. All their they have bronze statues in different areas of different legendary wrestlers. Like here's a bronze statue of The Undertaker. And here's one of Triple H and Roddy Piper. And they have a full size, and they're like kind of like almost communal area. They have a full size wrestling ring set up. Like, and they were like, this is the same ring we use in TV. Like it is fully ready. Like you can get in there right now and do stuff. And I guess occasionally they're like, yeah, we'll have wrestlers come by for like things, and sometimes they'll get in there and roll around. Like they don't have to, but they'll get in there and like
Just roll around.
just roll around in there, hit the ropes, take bumps,
Grab
means
a
just,
sock.
like, falling, like hitting, falling on your back. Grab a sock, stink face, someone in HR, all that stuff. So how it goes over there, man. Wrestling's wacky, guys. I don't know if you guys. I don't know why you guys don't watch.
I picked it up. I picked it up. Yeah.
I'm more interested in wrestling
yeah.
than I've ever been now. I feel like I need to find a way to get into the ring. You give me a
this
jump
is like
scare. Somebody's
It's not
face,
too late.
I got my move.
Dave Batista got into wrestling in his mid 30s, which is really late, and he became a Hall of Famer, and now he's a movie star. So you could be the next Dave Bautista, Wesley.
That's what I hear that often. Actually, you're not off the mark.
Often compared to Dave Bautista. But yes, everyone, go visit WWE.com. WWE.com, oh my God, I'm advertising for the wrong company. GameInformer.com. It's where my WWE preview is.
Marcus is going to quit.
This is going to be like a
for
canon
WWE.
event for the podcast.
I know. God, Triple H is on the phone right now. He's like, "Are you plugging the website? Yeah, are you plugging the site? Yeah, that's my Triple H.
H is
That was really
Shredder.
good, Triple H.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the game. Yeah, yeah. Great email. Okay. No. Anyways, yeah, GameInformer.com, WWE2K26 preview there live. Go to our YouTube channel, check out the new gameplay today video of WWE 2K26 that Eric and I did. About 40 minutes showing off the different matches and modes. And yeah, that game comes out March 13th. It seems like it will be fine. If you enjoyed those games up to this point, you will probably like this one, is kind of my takeaway from it. But yeah, let's get the hell out of here. I guess it's time for all of us to get out of the sewer now, because we got to go home. Is that okay, leader? Can we do that? Can we leave the sewer now and go?
Me and Raphael.
We're out. Me and Mike.
I feel safer in the sewer.
Raphael
to be
has
honest.
some stank coming his way.
I don't want to be up there with whatever is happening upstairs. I'll stay down here.
Fair enough.
I'll be in Plato's sewer.
If you would like to support our sewer dwelling adventures, you can do so by going to GameInformer.com/subscribe. Once again, get yourself a Game Informer magazine subscription, 10 issues a year, print and digital. We just announced our Invincible Versus cover story, which I wrote, and I'd like to say it's pretty good. I'm happy with it, but it's got cool cover art, dual covers for the first time. Go check it out. Subscribe now to make sure that's the first issue you get. Find Game Informer in bookstores and newsstands all over the world. And if you would like to follow all of us on social media, you can find me at Marcus Stewart 7. You can find Charles at Chuck Duck 365. Eric is at C Moosey, and Wesley LeBlanc is at Wesley LeBlanc. Easy. Let's see, anything else to plug? Streams. Check out our streams. Twitch.tv/Game Informer. We do live streams. I couldn't tell you what we're streaming this week, but it's probably something, but go watch it.
I think on Friday the plan is we might have Alex Van Aken stream Resident Evil Requiem, which will be very funny because he is the most easily frightened person I have ever met. And
He said he played 15 minutes of Requiem. A cord fell from the ceiling in game. He got too scared and he turned it off. So
literally screamed. Yeah. So this should be really good content.
I have insider info that he may or may not have tooted when he got scared.
I was just going to say he's going to fart so much on that stream because
We'll double mic him. We'll have one mic up here, one mic down there, just to catch in case.
the Rikishi mic, yes.
The Rikishi mic.
What an
good
awful,
callback
amazing
already.
episode of the GI Show.
I can't wait to delete all of this and say we didn't make an episode.
That's not the funniest part. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had almost nothing to do with anything we talked about this week. I just brought it up as a bit, and it became the whole through line plot of this.
Foundational framing for the
Yeah.
entire episode.
We had world building for our own personal TMNT show, and it's actually has nothing to do with Resident Evil Requiem, a game that any other podcast would be dying to spend as much time as possible to talk about.
And that's why you guys love supporting Game Informer, right?
Absolutely.
For tangents
Yes,
like
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. This is what you
Yes.
signed up for.
So yeah, go watch Alex play suffer through Resident Evil Requiem on our Twitch channel and YouTube on Friday. And yeah, be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Game Informer Show. We will see you next time. Cowabunga.